So we've got a few topics we're going to try and talk about today. Because as usual with these podcasts, I like to keep it pretty simple. I like to keep it just down to earth, chill, and just kind of like a friendly conversation. So
Heck yeah.
let's
We love this.
let's probably get into some of the basics first. If you would like to introduce yourself to everyone, Nephi.
Sure. Okay. Well, let's get the introductions. Okay, so hello everyone. I am CoolTheNephilim, Konnichiwa, as I do say. I am your half angel, half demon bounty hunter who has known Earth all of his life, 4.6 billion years old. I think is what you guys deduced from all your quote unquote science. Anyway, so I am a Nephilim and I stream over at YouTube, and I stream a lot of games. Some games mainly like Terraria, sometimes Valorant. I play games like Bayonetta and Devil May Cry, and I love learning and I love doing a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah, just don't let me find out you're rogue. Otherwise, and I'm here to talk about all sorts of stuff today with Empi. Let's get it going, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was a pretty good introduction. Yeah. So I guess when it comes to like the VTubing world, we all have like our kind of sort of backstory, our lore kind of, and as you guys may know, recently I've kind of added some lore to myself with my VTubing sort of stuff, and obviously I've now brought in the new era.
Look at you all dapped up with this new model.
Yeah, we've shaken things up quite a bit here, so I think the new era has kind of begun. So yeah, I do notice that like I think when it comes to probably more say corporate VTubers, I guess they tend to have more interconnected kind of laws with like all their VTubers now, like from what I'm seeing.
Right.
I wonder how interesting it would be if, let's say, we were to somehow integrate a lot of our friends' laws together into just one big law. Like,
I feel like that'd be a lot of fun, honestly.
Yeah,
we'd have like connections to freaking a celestial bunny, an assassin dragon, and you got like a guy who's podcasting, wolf male who's like podcasting, interviewing all these people. So where did you come from? How was your world like?
Yeah, what was your world like? What was happening over there?
How was it fighting the great old freaking dragon of death at the age of Babylon?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it would actually be really cool if we tried to somehow one day integrate some of our laws together, like for a big story.
I've been here for 4.6 billion years, and it's only recently I've been able to. I also interdimensionally travel as well as a bounty hunter, so I've met some interesting things along the way. I could get some ideas going.
Yeah, and then you just come across a wolf just drinking cola and just doing podcasts and definitely.
Yeah, I just kind of stumbled upon you around the forest as I was finding my next target. I mean, there's like a little hub I go to, right, where I see all these posts, and one guy, he was looking quite mighty, and I need some money. I was, falling back on some funds, and next thing you know, I was in the forest somewhere. I used my sword and opened up a portal, right, and the next thing you know, I see I step into it. I'm in a magical forest area, and then I see a wolf, a baby wolf. Baby man wolf with a microphone and Coca-Cola.
Yeah, you just see me like spitting raps as a kid, just like
doing ASMR apparently. Oh man, speaking of which, it's actually, dude, almost like already half a thousand, dude. Dang, like 400.
Yeah, damn. Like I haven't really been keeping track of the channel recently, but yeah, it's definitely been in something.
Yeah, you got something going, dude.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about. I'm thinking about doing another episode or kind of episode in the ASMR series at some point. Who knows? Like,
definitely, dude. Yeah, keep it up. Keep it up.
Yeah,
if it's working, like, go for it.
Yeah, recently I was actually helping another VTuber with some of their ASMR sort of stuff. So hopefully,
you know what's really funny?
Yeah.
it was really funny. Some of my own chat keeps on going like, you should do ASMR. Your voice is so calming. And I'm like, oh, well, I mean, sure. I mean, I could do that. I'll just read.
Yeah.
I make a joke of it, saying like, I'll just read you Genshin stories, the horrifying Genshin stories that are happening. That
Yeah.
happens. You just hear like Genshin music in the background, being like dun 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 dun, dun. And then next thing you know, I hear, I just read out, we should take the healer trails and let them run the city on like hamster wheels. And then when they grow too old and weak, we should feed them to the stronger, more burlier hilichurls. And I was like, oh my god, you Mondstadt villagers are the real monsters here. Oh my god, you have a kid who's learning Hilichurlian language, and then next thing you have you guys over here promoting cannibalism and slavery.
Wow.
Hello? I think aren't you guys the good guys?
Aren't you guys the good guys? It's like
aren't you guys the good guys?
Oh man.
Oh man.
Oh god.
Whack stuff, guy. Oh my god, seriously.
Damn.
Genshin's kind of effed up, not gonna lie.
Yeah. So we ended up deciding to see if ChatGPT could come up with some topics for the podcast, because it's kind of been a bit of a thing recently where some podcasts have been like, oh, let's test ChatGPT and see what topics get spit out. And I was watching Trash Taste the other day and it was like, oh, here we go. One of them literally was about poop, and I'm like, okay, how the what did you feed? What did you feed into
the wonderful world of poop?
What did you feed into ChatGPT? Yeah, go for it.
The absolute wonderful world of shit.
Yes.
We live in this shitty world, and it's a big pile of absolute crappy shit.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so one of the topics that got spit out of ChatGPT was talking about the histories and origins of VTubers, and I'm like, okay, well, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of history.
Quite a bit.
But I think we were sort of talking off the podcast, just before the podcast, about like how the West sort of got its first sort of instances of VTubing and how it kind of happened, you could say. And
how it's sort of got popularized right around here. Because for sure, definitely, there's got to be like, there are people who like animated themselves. There were people who used animated or like, what is it, flashy PNGs, right, on streams before. Especially more so, definitely, in times of lockdown.
Yeah.
And it just so happens around the same time too that there were some characters popping up, right? So they're like Project Melody, as we were talking about, and Kizuna Ai was definitely a big proponent of this, a big force popularizing VTubers. And then came Hololive, which I sort of found, it sort of felt like to me that they kind of popped out from out of nowhere, but they started like sort of almost underground in Japan for a good bit of while.
Yeah, I think it was like 2018, 2019 in Japan. They were kind of starting to pop around, and like 2020 they probably blew off, kind of like how in the West VTubing got its introductions, kind of. And
definitely.
Yeah, and Project Melody to me was really the first big sort of Western pop off, I guess, in the scene. Aside from like Kizuna AI, which most people knew but didn't really associate at the time as VTuber, I guess. Kind of just another kind of YouTuber slash kind of I guess kind of like an idol sort of model, kind of, to some people.
Yeah. Still sort of like promoting the idolish culture, which I've no doubt that probably Hololive has always been sort of circled around. You know, they've always said it's what is it? Hololive has always been sort of more idol based. Definitely the culture that they promote. Very reminiscent of Japan. Definitely, I would say.
And I think one of the main reasons why Project Melody sort of, I guess, became probably the standing figure at the beginning of Western VTubing culture would have been because she fit in more with the Western audience, like in perspective of the scene. So people kind of just
Yeah.
would naturally attach themselves and go, oh, she's a Western VTuber, that's very interesting. Like, what does she do? And then it's like, oh, she had some very interesting beginnings. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No.
Yeah.
She had
breaking
she's
a
very
website.
fun.
Yeah.
Breaking a website. I think that's another person's dead. Actually, wait. There are many people who have been breaking websites recently.
Oh yeah, like but Project Melody broke a certain website in the beginning because of how, like, I guess revolutionary the whole VTuber slash 18 plus kind of scene to it was. And
yeah, you've actually interviewed one of them. I'm pretty sure, right? You talked to one of them, at least.
I mean, I don't think
not
I've
Project Melody, but 18 plus.
Yeah, I have talked to a couple 18 plus VTubers in my time. One on the podcast, and that was very hard to kind of keep TOS friendly because I was trying to keep it kind of TOS friendly and make sure I don't kind of overstep a bit.
Yeah.
But
oh man.
Yeah, I do have an interesting story in relation to Project Melody. And this is kind of interesting because I remember I was kind of mentioning off the podcast how I had this interesting story, and this is kind of how it leads into, I guess, Project Melody a little bit. So basically, because during the time, like the early days of COVID, with the pandemic, like we had our lockdown, and then about probably, I think it would have been the first month of April or something, the first week of April, we got out of lockdown, and I went to my friend Zach the Browser's place, and at that time I was showing him a series I found, which was Lost Pause, playing the Nekopara games with Project Melody and a few other VTubers, and I was like, yeah, this is kind of cool. You should watch this, bros. Like, let's watch and see what happens, because it was so funny watching them narrate like the script of Nekopara. Oh, was it Nekopara? No, I think that was another one. But there was no, Doki Doki Literature Club. I think was the first one.
Doki Doki Literature Club.
It might have been that one first, and we were just laughing so much. And I was like scrolling through, I think, because at the time there was a really early on Discord server of, I think it might have been owned by Project Melody, or someone made a server and Project Melody was in it. And I was just like sort of joking around with Zach the Bros and being like, oh, it'd be funny if I DM'd Project Melody, like out of the blue. And he was like, yo, you should do it. And I'm like, do I really want to? I mean, that might not go well. And I DM what I believe to be Project Melody at the time. And I can't 100% say for certain if it is or not. But, I mean, there's potentially some credibility to it, because I also recently spoke to an artist, VTuber artist, who actually did some work for Project Melody early in the day. And he sort of gave me a bit more confirmation to say, yeah, that sounds like Project Melody you DM'd. And I'm like, really? Is that true? Because I was not sure actually, but I was just going with my gut instinct and going, okay, this is Project Melody, right? But I send a DM.
Dang, gutsy.
I sent a DM and I was thinking, no, she's not going to respond to this. There's no way. There's absolutely no way she's going to respond. But within 5 minutes, I got a response. And
Oh.
I could not believe it.
Oh.
Like I was like
Oh.
I was like
Mhm.
hi? Like I was thinking, hello? Like
In disbelief, like,
Yeah.
hi, hello.
But I DM'd something,
Dang,
and then
okay.
I think she jokes about saying something along the lines of like, oh, what server are you from? And
Mhm.
I made up some sort of thing. I was just like,
Made us some excuse of a server.
yeah. I was like, this one, it's kind of like this, and she's like, oh, I see, okay. and then we started talking about anime and stuff. Like, I was like, oh, what's your favorite animes at the moment? And she's like, oh, I can't exactly remember what she said at this point, but we kept DMing. And then it was like she randomly said something along the lines of like, oh, just checked out your YouTube channel. And I was like, what? What? Like,
Oh, fun.
like, hello? I mean, I hadn't really done much
Like,
at the
hello.
time on the channel because I was still an IRL YouTuber. And I was just thinking, the first thing that I sort of thought to ask is it cringe? And
is it cringe? I'm sorry you had to witness this cringe.
and she was like, oh, a little
my
bit,
God.
yeah. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I thought so. I thought so.
Just straight up honesty.
The straight up,
kinda. It's kind of cringe.
yeah, the straight up honesty. I was just like, okay, she seems very down to earth. I'm pretty sure this has gotta be Project Melody. She's very down to earth on that. And
I can just hear it in her voice too. It's like, yeah,
yeah,
it's kind of cringe.
yeah, but I was just thinking, I was just like,
man.
wait, what the hell? Like, she decides to
I'm talking to a celeb right now.
Yeah, at the time, I think she had about maybe not even she had about 180,000 subscribers on YouTube at that point.
Dang, that's growing. Yeah.
So really early days. And
what even is she at right now? Actually?
I don't know what she's at now, but I could imagine a lot higher though. But
definitely.
But yeah, I was just like, nah, this is not real. There's no way. But
I can't be talking to the Project Melody right now. Yeah, it's crazy, honestly.
Yeah, and
whoopsie. It's crazy how, like, you talk to these people who are like who seem very out there, like never in a world would I imagine talking to them in the next. It's like, oh my god, they're so down to earth.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can quickly grab up like just on my screen my Discord, because like I've currently got a couple screens occupied. But
fun.
I'm gonna see if I can bring up Discord again in my browser just so I can look at it on screen. But then I can look back at the conversation. Because I still have the DM somewhere.
It's like one of those moments where you just kind
one
of
of those moments I had to keep it. But I think what ended up happening after a while was she ended up getting a different Discord account because this one's dead. I imagine that she ended up changing it because like maybe people were just DMing her like crazy.
Yeah, no, probably.
But at the time, like, she was saying she was watching Kaguya-sama Love is War. So that's kind of interesting.
Good anime, wonderful anime.
I actually,
wonderful pick.
I even mentioned to her at the time, like I said, I didn't actually expect you to reply to me, but thanks for responding to me. I discovered you through Lost Pause, and she's like, you're welcome anyway.
You're welcome anyway. Dang, confident much.
Yeah. I even told her like a really cringe joke that me and Zach the Bros had at the time. Oh god.
Bro, no. No. Oh
And like I used to ask, I like asked her some really, I guess not. I don't know what sort of questions I was thinking to ask her. I was just like, oh yeah, what's the funniest thing you've ever seen?
Oh my god.
Because I just did not know what to say. I was like, okay, I need to kind of keep this conversation rolling somehow.
I need to find some way to continue this conversation. I need to keep it going. I'm talking to the Project Melody. I gotta make a good first impression. Maybe yeah, no. Oh god, it's those moments.
But
Oh
yeah,
boy, I feel that.
I even mentioned how I have my love for retro games and stuff, and she said like she said that something like, I'm really into first-person shooter games and some pretty good storyline-based games like Uncharted. And I'm thinking, okay, that kind of makes sense, because, I mean, Project Melody did play Cyberpunk on stream at one point. So, I mean, that kind of feels like a bit of a connection there, like story-based games. So...
Right.
So I started eventually after a while I tried to start piecing together and going, is this actually Project Melody? Like, did I actually speak to the Project Melody or not? Because I started like getting into this kind of whole like, did I not? I don't know.
might be getting gaslit here a little bit.
yeah. Then there was a really bizarre DM which I was kind of surprised by, because at first I complimented like about, this was like maybe a month after, not even, like I complimented the fact that she changed her Discord name to Project Melody in Japanese.
Oh, Project Melody.
And then suddenly, like about a week later, I get a response, and it was really sad. A really sad response, like, which I wouldn't share on stream because I don't know the context of whether it actually is something that Project Melody spoke about publicly or not. But it was really sad, and I was just like, holy shit, thinking to myself, what do I say to this? Like, I feel like at the time, because, and this was a theory by one of the artists I knew when I sort of spoke about this, he sort of said to me that he thinks that maybe Project Melody at the time kind of saw me as someone to talk to about the situation, because I'm not one of like her friends or anything like that, and just kind of someone maybe to, I guess, just share a bit of stuff with. I don't know,
like someone to confide in, basically.
Yeah,
you know, it's easy to confide in
because
strangers on the internet because you don't know if you'll ever interact with them again, you know.
Yeah, because like when I saw this particular DM, like this whole, there was like a whole bunch of like info dump, like of something pretty personal. I was like, oh shit, like how do I respond to that? Like, and
right,
and
it's kind of a bit much to just sort of spill on someone.
And because like,
God,
because I was actually at one of my friends' places at the time, and once I opened Discord, like I just saw that, like, because I hadn't been on Discord.
Oh no!
I hadn't been on Discord for like maybe like a good sort of day, so to open up and just see that, I was like, oh shit, okay. So I just tried my best to be a comforting figure, and then like after a week, I thought maybe I'll just check on her and just see if everything's okay. And then after a while, she just kind of stopped responding, pretty much.
Never DM'd again.
Yeah, I tried to DM her for her birthday at that year. So, and I think like she started just heart reacting some of my stuff. So I think maybe she was just getting so many DMs she couldn't really keep up at that point.
Yeah. Oh man.
But I was
one of my
like,
friends.
I was just so like confused to this day, going like, okay, is it not, is it, because I don't know. And
to this day I never knew if I talked to the Project Melody,
yeah, like,
or
Yeah, I
Oh
had
man.
no idea at the time, like, because at the time I thought, oh yeah, it's definitely, and then I was like, wait, no, she's not been active on this account for a bit. So I was like,
Mhm.
okay, maybe she ended up shifting accounts, maybe, and because she probably needed a more private Discord account.
I mean, I got an idea of how you probably would know,
Hmm.
but I don't know if one would. I don't know if I should probably say that. Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
yeah. Probably don't want to let too many people know how to do that.
exactly.
But
Yeah, no.
yeah, I was just like, man, like that. If that was a legit Project Melody, like, damn, I got to have some pretty good conversation there, and
Been pretty nice. Could have gotten her on this podcast.
damn,
Oh
imagine if I was
man. Right.
doing the podcast back in the day. Maybe it might have happened.
Oh yeah, honestly.
Like maybe back in the day
It'd
it
be
might have
something.
happened.
I mean, also imagine getting some other VTubers that you met at
Yeah,
some particular cons on here.
yeah,
That'd be
yeah.
a dream, huh?
Hey, maybe I should just be like, hey, Mary, do you want to come on the podcast? I'll just like I'll suddenly have to try and
Right.
start DMing some VTubers and be like, hey, we met up at
Mhm.
TwitchCon. Do you want to come on the podcast?
Of course, you gotta talk them up though. You gotta be
Yeah,
like, oh man, I gotta be a little hooky. Oh man,
yeah,
not in that sense. Wait, what the?
yeah.
But
Like,
yeah. Mhm.
yeah, it's like it's just interesting because there's so many people I really want to try and get on the podcast, and then I'm just like, man, how do I go about it? Because it's like
Honestly,
it's
because
honestly about
it's
like
like
connections and stuff, and
it is. Not even just connections with like
yeah,
it's not even just connections with like the person you're trying to connect with. It's also like this person you know, is essentially a network within and of themselves. They have an audience as well. So it's like
yeah,
how might factor into play, Maybe just not even for and sometimes some people are just like, yeah, we just vibe together,
yeah,
despite how big they are.
yeah.
Hmm.
Like I know a few VTubers, I'd say of somewhat like more, I guess, prominence than us, like some that have some pretty big
Hmm.
profiles now, and
Yeah. Hmm.
I'm just like, damn, like I got to get them on the podcast one day just to chat and just be like, hey, let's just talk about different things, like,
Just talk about life, being a VTuber and
yeah.
such. Yeah, no.
But also, I have
Mhm.
had this idea for a while of bringing back past guests, like, but like in a group. So, like, having two
Mhm.
VTubers kind of come on and kind of get to know each other. And
That would be fun. I think that'd be really fun, honestly.
yeah,
You know.
like, mix and mash a couple VTubers you wouldn't think to mix together. And
It's honestly it would some of the things that make me pretty happy is when friends that like don't know each other initially, like
mm,
whenever like you let them meet each other and they vibe well together. It's like one of the best feelings I get where it's like, look at you two freaking getting along and hitting it off, bro.
yeah,
That makes me very happy, honestly, because it's like, oh my god, I like you as a person and I like you as a person and you both like each other as a person, so it's
yeah.
like double the like. Oh my god.
Yeah, yeah, and it's
Ah.
like, and just seeing like
Mhm.
two VTubers like that don't really talk much, like come on a podcast, and I'm kind of just like that middle person just to bring them on, and
Mhm.
it would just be fun, like just getting to see how they interact and how I interact with them, and like
Just get and then it then might get into like one of those very heated situations where it's like, oh god, they're debating
it's like,
now.
oh god, here we go.
Here we go again.
Yeah,
That would
oh,
be
all the hot
something.
takes are coming out.
All the hot takes, all the yelling left and right. Oh god.
Yeah, it'll be
But then
so
you get like
fun.
moments where like they compliment each other and they like go into this cycle of just like, oh my god, you like this? Oh my god, you like this too? Yeah, I like that
Yeah.
too. Oh my god. That'd be
Oh,
freaking awesome, honestly.
it'd
It's
be
always
so good.
those moments are awesome. Hmm.
Yeah. So let's have a look at what other topics ChatGPT decided to come up with.
Yeah.
Let's see. So there has been, I guess, some debate in the past about like the relationship of VTubers and other like YouTubers and content creators. Like some people don't like the whole "oh, it ruins my immersion" sort of thing, and it's like, come on, bro, come on,
Come on, man. Come on, man. Yeah, no. I don't know. What do you think about the whole my immersion kind of deal?
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
for me, it's like I don't really care. Like, if like there's
Mm-hmm.
IRL sort of VTuber, like IRL streamers and like VTubers like interacting in any sort of way. Like some people see it
Mm-hmm.
as immersion breaking because it's like two kind of separate kind of. You could kind of look at it as two
Mm-hmm.
separate entities, I guess. Like from like the different planes of
Mm-hmm.
existence, like 2D and 3D and all that sort of stuff. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think a good example of where it's gone really well is just seeing like you could watch like some of CDog VA's kind of videos with Iron Mouse. I think it's a really good interaction between the two.
Yeah, and those two are just genuine friends, honestly, and it's great to see.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
it's it's
And
really good to
it's
see the interaction there. And
mm-hmm.
I mean, when I was an IRL streamer, I kind of used to compare the interaction a little bit between some of my friends and me as an IRL streamer. Like, I used to look at CDog as a good sort of, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
influential figure on that. And
Right.
yeah, and I was just seeing how well it could work out, so I used to kind of adapt that kind of mentality in some of my streams back
Mm-hmm.
then. Like, for instance,
Right.
back in that time, I was starting to collab with more VTubers. So, like, I started collabing with Momo at the time, and I kind of took that whole Sea Dog Iron Mouse kind of style to that.
Mm-hmm.
And also a couple other friends. And then eventually I was like, I'm going to join the VTubing world as well, because why not?
It looks like a lot of fun. We might as well go and yes, become one of us.
It's
One
like,
of
become
us.
one.
One of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I think
mm,
another. I'm trying to think of what I was gonna get into on that. Like another sort of, I guess, there's another VTuber out there that definitely is
mhm.
not CDog VA, uh, which you could say is there's a particular VTuber named Booby, or has a very long name. He's very much like CDog
Yes,
VA,
movie.
very much like CDog VA, but kind of
But it's
in
definitely not Sea Dog VA.
definitely not definitely not
Not
CDog.
definitely not Sea Dog VA.
Same
Who
with
also happens to have a pretty nice relationship with Iron Mouse. I think what was it? It's
yeah.
like servant master kind of deal,
Yeah,
except it's probably butler mistress kind of deal,
yeah,
without the whole kind of part.
yeah, and it's like
uh,
there's
mm,
also Hime Hajime, definitely not someone else.
huh, huh. Who's also getting married to a particular someone, which congratulations. That's a very
Hmm.
nice thing. Yeah. hmm
Yeah,
But yeah, Hime Hajime, who I honestly haven't been keeping up with too much, honestly, now that I think about it.
yeah. I
Mm.
mean, does Hime
Mm.
even make content anymore?
Oh, bruh, sorry, Hime.
Yeah, sorry, Hime, but
Oh.
gotta just kind of put that out there. Same with Booby. You don't really
Mhm.
see much of Booby. Um,
Booby, where's the moolah, dude? Where's the content, brother?
I think he's gone back to hell
Um,
probably.
Probably trying to serve under mouse's what is it? Discretions,
Yeah.
directions,
Yep.
while she's up here doing her work as a VTuber,
Yeah.
secretly DMing him, being like, "Hey, Can you like rule hell for me for half a second, please?
It's like,
I'm really busy trying to stream right now.
it's like you probably have like Iron Mouse DMing Booby and being like, "Hey, can you make me a sandwich, please?"
I'm hungry. Make me a sandwich. Oh my god.
It's like, make me a sandwich.
You know, I also know some, what is it? Some VTuber, VTuber interactions with IRL streamers as well. I think I can call them IRL streamers. It's mainly there's like one. I remember this one because what is it? I know Schrodinger Lee. Definitely interacts with VTubers.
Yeah.
And he's well known. He's well known nowadays. He's really entertaining. I love his content, to be honest. And he definitely interacts with like people from at least one big corporate company, Neji Sanji. He's definitely interacted with people there. And he's also interacted with Gulp, Cottontail VA.
Oh yeah.
And I'd say she's probably a bit of the. She's probably part of the. Actually, she's like one of those VTubers who's like kind of. She's like on the edge of sort of IRL sometimes, but like I remember one thing where she's got people signing her breast whenever she went to cons, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Damn, that's being quite out there.
She's quite bold. Honestly, she's quite bold. Yeah, you should see some of her stuff with interacting with Schrodinger Lee. I can send you some of those clips sometimes, but it's super fun. It's super fun. And she's also interacted with this other person. This is mainly in Valorant clips. Nat, who's like a voice troll actor kind of person. He's known for sort of going on Omegle dressed up as a girl and speaking in a girl voice and being very convincing.
I think I've seen that before. Yeah,
he voice trolls a lot. Let's see, as he voice trolls as like a lot of the Valorant female characters.
Wow.
And and everyone just barks for him.
It's like bark,
or
bark,
they
bark,
go
bark.
like, "Are you Nat?" Yeah, no, they go like, woof, woof, woof. Oh my god, it's similar to this other person, dramatic. But yeah,
oh man,
it's fun.
Yeah, it's like I think I've made it one of my goals like over time as I've developed friendships with some of my like VTuber friends to eventually just hope to one day meet them IRL, like just for the fun of it. Like
Momo.
Yeah, like I met Momo during just before TwitchCon, and like one of the ideas we originally had was going to go to TwitchCon together.
Right,
but because of like Momo's work schedules and stuff, we couldn't end up really working that out, so
which is unfortunate, but there's always next time.
Yeah, so the next best bet was basically to go, okay, well, we'll just meet up in person, like at a particular location, and just kind of like hang out and just see and just see what's around, like kind of show me around,
see what's around, what's the highlights of said place, you know? What's the highlights of the land of Momo?
Yeah, what's the highlights of the land of Momo? And it was like, yeah, that was pretty good, and like got to have like a good time there, and then sort of the next day just like trained it off to Amsterdam, so
right,
yeah, which was quite good. So
yeah, definitely. I'd love to meet some of my friends that I've met through VTubing and streaming in general, because they're amazing people, and I just, you know, whenever I go back to some certain countries, it'd be fun to, you know, the countries that I constantly visit. It'd be really fun if I could just go back, and next thing you know, it's like I'm interacting with online friends who are probably going to be taller than me, and we'll do some things. Maybe we can go like zip lining, island hopping. It'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, true.
Go to Japan. Go to meet up. Have a meetup in Japan.
Oh yeah, like
Go-
that's been one of my ideas.
Imagine, dude.
I would love to like just have a big meetup in Japan, like with a bunch of VTuber
Dude,
friends.
for real. Like we should just grab everyone we know and just be like, okay, we're all investing money. We're all going to Japan. We're meeting up here.
Yeah,
we're all
gonna
going to a
meet here
Starbucks.
at this
'Cause we-
date at this time.
This time we're all getting Starbucks, and this guy who we both know, whose name starts with an R, is buying us. Is buying a
Yeah.
Starbucks.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah,
or
that'd
we
be
can
cool.
get one of our friends to just make us some boba tea.
Yeah,
she's
yeah, that's
doing
right.
that.
Yeah,
I want to try her boba tea, dude.
yeah,
Honestly.
yeah. I'm not
Mhm.
huge on the boba sort of scene yet, but like, I mean, I'm always willing to give it a try and see how that
Mhm.
goes. So
I'm down for her stuff, honestly, because
yeah,
I'm excited to try it out.
yeah,
Mhm.
and
It's crazy.
yeah, it's like
How did we get here, by the way, again?
it all kind of
Mhm.
rounds around, like the topics round up into eventually different
That's
areas. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's like I think I do have some VTuber friends that actually end up being like pretty close to where I live actually. Like
Right.
so I mean there's always the chance for some eventual IRL meetups. So that would be pretty cool.
You got it, dude. You two are like so nearby. like it's got to happen.
Yeah, yeah, me and like
Honestly.
if you guys don't know, so me and another VTuber friend, Rio, we actually
Mhm.
not too far away from each other, surprisingly. Like
Mm.
I was thinking that, oh yeah, Rio's gonna be somewhere else in the country. There's no way we're gonna meet. And
You
then
know what? I just made like a very like fascinating connection. You two are in the lands of wolves and vampires. Are you two in Twilight? Like
Damn.
like in that case, where's Ella? Was it? Is her name Ella? Wait, I forget. Bella, there it is. Man, I couldn't even remember her name.
Yeah, yeah. I don't
Oh, man.
know. I mean, it's like,
She
am
probably
I? But yeah, but I was
Oh, man.
actually genuinely surprised, like, because I didn't, and the way I found out was I was doing an Instagram live in Sydney, actually, like in obviously one of the big cities in Australia. And
Right.
Rio was like, "Oh, yo, you're like only so many minutes away from my work," and I was like, "Huh?
Mhm.
Okay, like that's something."
That's
And
so, dude, that's crazy. Like being, you just happen to be in a city, right? And then when your friends goes like, "Hey, yo, you're like near my work." Like,
I was like,
yo,
"What?
what? Can we just do like a meetup right now? You just like get
Yeah,
off of work right now.
yeah. I have discussed the idea to an extent with Rio. So who
There
knows?
you go, right?
Yeah, who knows?
You have a scheduled
Maybe
date? Question mark.
it's like the question mark.
Do you have like a scheduled date and plan? Question
But
mark.
damn, like just imagine like I had this cool idea. I was like, yo, we should just like drive our cars, find a street somewhere in just a particular area and just like go, let's just park next to each other and be like, hey, how's it going?
Hello, sir. How's it going?
It's like, hello, sir. That would be so
Hello,
funny
sir.
if we actually
Oh
did
my
that.
god.
And then like we just take
Honestly.
a photo for Twitter and just be like, hey, yo, we are ended up actually meeting. That would
I
be
remember some of our mutuals when they met dual IRL. They were like, "Oh my god, he's so handsome. He's so ikemen. He's so guapo." I'm like, okay, you should do that too. Be a part of the group. Be part of the
yeah.
group who's like, check out this sexy man in his fit. Look at this sexy man. Both him and his cars, bro.
Just imagine like I just like end up meeting up and being like, yo man, look at this guy. This guy's a Chad. He's just
It's like a selfie pic, and next thing you know, it's like you doing like a little, like, what is it, like little, not little duck face, but it's like the Chad face kind of deal, and then it's just him, and it's Duel's, and it's like a Duel's entire torso, with the arms around each other, like Dude. Oh,
No,
man.
just imagine like it's like I just get a shot in the frame with like him in his car like somewhere, and I'm just like looking behind doing like, you know, the like that face that Sea Dog did like at the opera house.
Yeah.
Like just going like just being like, hey yo, like look at that.
Off-brand Sea Dog VA and vampire Ikemen K-pop star idol.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Damn.
K-pop in this case means Keshi pop, by the way.
Damn.
Oh man,
Damn, that
that'd
would
be
be
fun. That'd
something.
be fun.
Oh,
Mhm.
that'd be so
Yeah,
funny.
no. hmm
Like,
What is it?
oh
I
god.
remember we were like talking about immersion stuff earlier,
Yeah.
were we?
Yeah.
hmm
I guess that's how it
hmm
kind of loops around to the different topics of like this and stuff.
My
But
immersion's been broken,
my
Wolfy. Oh my god,
immersion
why did
is
you take this
broken.
IRL? Why did you take this IRL picture, huh? Why did you do
It's like
this?
it's like
My
damn,
immersion.
damn. Oh man, I'm sorry you couldn't handle it.
Sorry, mate. Good. You know, honestly, now to think about it, you have a Team Cola podcast. You should get like an animation where you're drinking like a soda pop, like a soda pop of a or like pop of cola. You know,
Yeah, yeah, that'd be cool.
right? Yeah,
That'd
no.
be something.
Um,
Uh,
yeah, we should do it. What is it? But yeah, no.
yeah.
What is it? I kind of like go thinking back to the whole like immersion thing and just
Mm,
talking about connections to IRL streamers or YouTubers and
yeah.
VTubers as well. Oh my god, wait a sec. I just realized Coefficient.
Yeah.
Do you know a person named Coefficient? He
Uh,
also does like these IRL VTuber interaction stuff where he's like always constantly reacting. I have
yeah.
another friend. I have another friend actually who like makes reactions of VTubers herself,
Mm,
and like she does interact with VTubers such as
right.
me.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I played Valorant with her one time. So
Nice.
yeah, and so I don't know. I think my sort of whole thing on the immersion kind of deal is that like it really varies per person what they think about what immersion means,
Yeah.
honestly. Because some people see immersion as this is reality that I have to deal with, and it maybe sucks, or it's just my reality and who I see on the screen should not match up IRL. Like it gets really confusing and really discomforting if that's the case. While on the other
Mm,
hand, you have people who are like, maybe they interpret it another way. Maybe they actually double down on the immersion stuff, where it's like, oh my god, my reality and my fantasy can actually like converge, you know?
mm,
And I think of those people as like two ends of like the extremes of of a perspective, honestly. I
yeah.
maybe the people who see the immersion conversion kind of deal, maybe they see that more as like I'm thinking of them as more sort of like this midway point between the norm average, let's say, and then people who like take immersion to the extreme where it's like, I want to go out with you. I've been seeing recently these
Oh
TikToks
yeah.
of like of like roommates recording their roommates behind their back, of them reacting to VTubers doing stuff.
Oh.
And yeah, and it's out of context. It just, if you didn't understand what VTubers are, you would just think, what the fuck is this person doing? What is
Yeah.
he? Why is he acting like this? And then I'm like, I kind of get this, honestly. Like for people who like understand VTubers, like,
Mm,
and like this, who understand this idea of like, um what is it, or who understands being obsessed with something essentially, and especially being obsessed with like a, you know, moving, interacting, especially anime
yeah.
entity, you know, because so that's sort of like the basis in which why we all are connected with one another's are, um it used to be, I think it used to be largely popularized that VTubers in anime are sort of like are like 1-to-1 ratio interlinked. Basically, we had the same
Mm,
style, we operate sort of the same way, you know, and it was like this whole Japan, like this whole Japanese culture kind of deal.
yeah.
Um, just elements of it at least. And people who loved anime stuff and loved Japan stuff, they like sort of, you know, converge, interacted in the Western based audience. They interact at that point. It's like, oh my
Yeah.
god, it's my
Yeah.
anime talking to me.
It's my anime talking to me. It's like, yeah.
It's my immersion.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah, exactly.
there's
Hmm.
there's definitely been a few cases like in recent times, especially like with VTubers like and some of their, I guess, fans being so obsessed with them to the point where it's
Hmm.
like they almost have like a really, I guess, really kind of, the way I'm gonna put it is kind of interesting. They have like a really yandere like tendency towards their VTuber friend.
Right, exactly, right? Like,
So it's like they're just
I
like,
mean,
no, I'm not letting them hang out with this particular VTuber or this particular streamer.
right.
Like they did this and I don't like it, and it's like,
Mhm.
bruh.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too is that like I just got reminded of one situation too where it's like, here's the thing, it was really interesting. This one situation, um, when Hololive Myth and EN started arising, um, or no, maybe Nijisanji, I don't remember. It's one of those two companies. Their audiences happen to mimic some of the same behaviors that the Western audience demonized about the Japanese culture when it
Mm,
comes to praising idols. That transferred over. Like, you know how in
yeah,
Japanese culture, in Japanese, there's like Japanese idol worship. Like
yeah,
idols became like this sort of religion. It felt like it was some sort of religion, some sort of cult, where like the audience just were like were like what is it? Felt as if they controlled the idols. And the company, idol company, they profit off of that, so they had to like be like, okay, idols, you have to do like this kind of stuff,
yeah,
essentially. That was present in Japanese-based Hololive, and then we saw we like over at the West, they saw that behavior, went like, that's cringe. And then
yeah,
next thing you know, that very same thing transferred over to the Western audiences when was it Council, Hololive Council, and the Tempest, yeah,
yeah,
when Hololive
yeah,
Tempest, when they started interacting too, Hololive, like the fan base over there, the Western audience started going like, you shouldn't let that happen. No, no, this is
yeah,
our idols. This is our idols. And it's like, what's happening here? And then people over the West were also like, what are you guys doing? I
yeah.
thought we were better than this. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Have you
I've
ever heard of that?
definitely seen that, like that sort of, I
Mm-hmm.
guess, kind of idol culture kind of I guess sort of, what's the best way to put it? Like that idol culture kind of behavior from fans.
Right.
Like definitely
Mm-hmm.
did sort of start translating over to a lot of VTubers, and like especially like say with Hololive or I
Mm-hmm.
think, I don't know if it happened really much with like say Niji Sanji or other ones, but I guess like it has kind of just been slowly kind of seeping in some aspects.
Mm-hmm. I think honestly, I maybe some part of me isn't exactly surprised because sometimes you see this with like YouTubers, you know, just
Yeah,
regular YouTubers. Sometimes I
yeah,
imagine at least at certain parts where it's like, you know, audience. It's like the parasocial thing, you know, the
yeah,
parasocial relationships kind of deal.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
they all want to like control how their particular
Hmm.
favorite YouTuber or VTuber or whatever behaves and how they interact
Right.
with people, and it's like, and I think we saw
Hmm.
that with there was one thing, it was kind of controversial where, because I think CDog VA kind of referenced something about Hololive, and
Hmm.
everyone started like saying, "Oh, that's a criticism to Hololive. Like you criticized Hololive," and they all sort of went
Hmm.
to, I think it was Maury Calliope about it,
Mm-hmm.
and Maury was kind of just
Yeah.
like, "Well, I mean, that's CDog's opinion. There's like, so
Hmm.
what? Like,
Hmm.
like."
Right. Like. we
like
just can't be people who like criticize each other's products or like arts.
yeah,
or,
and
like,
because I think at the time,
and criticize here also being more so like just saying what I didn't like, what I like. Maybe
yeah,
the way we say we didn't like this stuff, we like this stuff comes off a bit harsh or whatever. But it's not
yeah,
criticizing the person or their self-worth or their
yeah,
existence. It's saying what they made could have been better.
yeah,
You know?
and at the same time, I think Sea Dog's criticism was more like just about how the way, like, he wasn't really directly criticizing. He was kind of like saying, I think, in a sense, how certain things work with Hololive, like what their kind of structure
Yeah.
is, because I think Hololive has a very specific set of kind of guidelines and rules, and that's what they have to follow in their practice.
Right, because of their contracts too. Like it's
Yeah,
just the way they operate. Yeah.
yeah, and it's like, and I think I guess some of Mori Calliope's fans must have taken that as some kind of big criticism, I guess. And we're like, oh no, Mori, you shouldn't be collabing with this guy. He said this about Hololive, and it's like, I mean, at the end of the day, it's up to Mori Calliope and Hololive who, I guess, they're allowed to collab with and that sort of stuff. Like, it's like it doesn't have to. It's not up to the fans on who people can collab with and who they can't.
No. Like here's the thing: is that like, the fans are consideration, but
Yeah,
ultimately, what definitely drives, like, at least I think in the long run, what would be healthiest in the long run for like content creation, whatever it may be, is gonna be what do I feel fueled by? What do I feel
yeah,
passionate about? And how can I? And there's gonna be people who like agree, disagree, but that's just
yeah,
ultimately what's gonna happen. What's gonna be driven long term.
yeah. Like, I
Yeah.
remember there was a collaboration, I think, between, and I think this was at a time when there was a bit of controversy sort of swinging around. I don't know if it was involving uh who was it? Someone involved with like the Dream SMP sort of stuff. Uh and I think it was involving like Linus Tech Tips as well.
Oh wow, Landis Detectives. I've heard the
Yeah.
name, but like, huh?
Yeah. Like, I think
Mhm.
Linus was doing some kind of PC build project or something for one of the
Mhm.
guys with the Dream SMP stuff, and then a big
Mm.
controversy happened right around the time when that collaboration was happening.
Mhm.
And Linus, like, still had to go through his video, obviously, and upload his video. And
Mhm.
a lot of people just suddenly slammed and were like, oh, Linus, you should not have collabed with this guy and all this sort of stuff. And I think
Mhm.
Linus was kind of just like, well, this project was in the works before the controversies came out. And
Mm.
he couldn't really just suddenly turn his back on the content that he was working on. I mean, he could,
Right.
but it probably would be more damaging if he did that.
Mhm.
And so he fulfilled his kind of stuff. So it was like, okay, well, he fulfilled his end of everything. And he was kind of like, well, that's kind of that. That's what happens sometimes. Like, you're not going to have a home run all the time with collabs and with any sort of projects and stuff. And
Right.
sometimes you just got to kind of, I guess, just, I guess what the saying would be, like, keep your chin up and keep going. And like, yeah,
Pull
acknowledge,
down, but pull up your bootstraps and such. Mhm.
yeah, and at the same time, Linus didn't have any sort of bad experience, I think, with that collab. Like, it was just the unfortunate timing of the collab coming
Mm.
out was when the
Yeah. Mhm.
controversies all sort of hit. But I've had a few
Right.
collabs over time where I'm just like, man, am I gonna get any kind of controversy with this? Like, because I do always worry about
Oof.
that. Like, I do always worry about
Yeah.
controversy, and
Mhm.
And I think it's only
It's
natural
I
as a streamer.
I can imagine. I mean, things happen, change happens, like for people
Yeah,
all over, and you just never know if somehow some people who just want to go back and or like just happen to remember these things start
yeah,
talking, and you get pulled in all of a sudden when you had nothing to do with it, and you start getting
exactly.
hate, and it's like, what did I do? I associated with this person at this time, and they're still good friends of mine.
Yeah,
Like maybe in personal interactions, it's like you just you know they're
yeah,
like still them.
yeah. Like
Or Mhm.
I've got friends that I'd say like when I stream, like sometimes I do, I guess, kind of worry sometimes if they're gonna overstep the boundaries a little bit,
Mm,
and
mhm,
and I sort of go, okay, but is that gonna more reflect on me or is it gonna reflect more on them? Because
mhm,
I mean, I do give them warning sometimes. Like I go, hey, just kind of be careful what you say sometimes because
mhm.
I know the nature of some of my friends' jokes and how they kind of go
Oof,
about stuff.
yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
just like,
Mhm,
and it's hard because it's like, if you've known them for a long time, you sort of know what they're like as a person.
right. Mhm,
You know whether they're like deep down a good person or if they don't mean harm
mhm,
through their jokes, but they might overstep it a little bit because they might get a bit cocky sometimes and kind of go, oh, well, like I just kind of slipped
mhm.
up with a joke. And it's like, and it does happen. But
Yeah.
sometimes it's like you got to kind of reel them in a little bit and go, hey, just be more careful. Like, be more careful with what you're gonna sort of
Yeah, just
joke
sort of like
about.
think about it a bit more, because this isn't
This isn't like
off
yeah,
camera. Mhm.
yeah. This isn't like
Right.
off stream. This isn't like how we would say
Mhm.
normally interact more
Right.
like on our own. Like it's a live stream. Plus it's
It's
something,
recorded, it's documented.
it's recorded,
you
and
know.
at the same time I don't
Mhm.
want to see them get in trouble. I don't want to see myself get into trouble. It's like
Mhm.
it's it's just one of those things. And yeah, like I can say as a
Mhm.
teenager I was probably a lot more edgier with my jokes back as a teenager. Like, and I'm not
Mhm.
afraid to admit that because that's a part of me from my past, and that's something that
Mhm.
I grew up in the environment of. Like, I grew up in the environment of edgy jokes being the norm, kind of.
Right. Mhm.
And I've sort of learnt over a period of time, okay, I gotta tone myself down. I've gotta kind of
Mhm.
realize the things that I'm saying, plus the
Mhm.
context of how those things kind of are today compared to even 5 years ago. Like
Right.
like I just gotta be
Mhm.
human and I've gotta be sort of honest about myself as a person. Like
Yeah, I feel like I was always sort of one of those people who was like on the receiving end of one of those like edgy jokes, because I've had friends
right.
way back then in the pre 4.6 billion years, let's say,
Yeah.
that were like kind of edgy, but sort of like I was like one of those people who like big positivity and such. I was
Yeah.
pretty optimistic person. I still kind of am, would say, but you know, I'm a bit more understanding of people who like make very sort of edgy jokes. At the same time, too,
Yeah.
it's also like, okay, let's calm down with that. But
Yeah.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
I like disengaged from some friendships because of the amount of edgy jokes that they were making, because it was like,
Yeah.
oh man, the amount of self angst, I can't really handle it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
Hmm. And mhm,
yeah, because like I was in a group of friends, I guess, at that time period where it was like
mhm,
edgy jokes were just like the norm culture, and especially in Australia,
mhm,
being we're already pretty edgy with how we joke about stuff. So this is
mhm,
kind of like taking it to like say 20 times probably the edgy sort
mhm.
of, I guess, mixing Australian culture with the filthy Frank sort of era edge jokes and that.
Oh boy, oh boy,
And
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, and we
That
were
was the
just
time.
like, and we were just like, oh yeah, this is normal. Like, and there was some stuff that I heard people say where I was like, even I was kind of just like, oh, oh boy, that
Oh,
would not go well.
interesting. That's not gonna go.
Yeah, like like you
yeah.
could imagine the PewDiePie bridge incident, but like times 20 probably.
Oh no.
Like
Oh no.
that was the kind of era that was kind of going on, and even I was not engaged with that much kind of edgelord joke era stuff. Like I was like, yeah, there's some things I will never say, and some of those things are probably it. But
yeah. Some of the things are like, yeah, no,
but
probably.
the probably the biggest part was what made me kind of go, okay, the edgelord joke era probably kind of needs to tone down. Was probably before I started streaming, I was like, okay, yeah, people are more not engaged with this sort of stuff. I should definitely not engage with this stuff. So I sort of disassociated myself with a lot of that kind of era kind of stuff.
Right.
But I kind of see myself as, I guess I embody the positivity kind of aspect and the optimistic side stuff, but I still have that sprinkle of edge in me, I guess, that I can't get rid of. Like, it's kind
it's
of,
because like, you know, it's how you grew up, right?
yeah,
Like that's gonna be a part of you. Stuff that you've been around, that you've adopted, that you were taught is normal, that you've internalized. All that's gonna be a part of you in some way, you know.
yeah,
And
yeah,
where you are right now, and I mean that's for anyone, right? Where anyone is at the current moment and what
yeah,
their expected hypothetical future would allow them to. They're also gonna adopt some of that part, some of those stuff too.
yeah.
And so
I
it's
feel
gonna.
like my sort of, I guess, my joke personality, or I guess my kind of off-stream character personality, as much as like I'm the chill guy, whether I'm on screen or off screen sort of thing, I do have that kind of, I guess, I like to call it like a meta era Filthy Frank sort of vibe.
Like a meta era Filthy Frank.
Like like a more toned down kind of Filthy Frank, where it's like the jokes are not so edgy per se.
Okay. Yeah.
Like there's probably still that sprinkle in there, but it's like it's not the whole hard-hitting Filthy Frank era, like, oh yeah, everything's edgy,
It's not like straight unfiltered.
Like it's not straight unfiltered, like it's a much more filtered Filthy Frank, I guess.
Oh, man.
Which is probably why I call it meta era Filthy Frank. but yeah,
it's like a Neo Frank.
Neo Filthy Frank.
Neo Frank.
Yeah, it's like and there's other times where I've realized, okay, the times have changed. There's things you can't say, obviously, and it's like I've even said to some of my friends off screen, I'm just like, yeah, okay, we gotta get away from that pre-2017 sort of era.
We're in a new time.
We're in a new time, bro.
We gotta adapt and adjust, you know.
We gotta adapt and adjust and not cause controversy.
Adapt, overcome.
Yeah, improvise, adapt, and overcome.
There we go. Improvise, adapt, and overcome.
Yeah, and
that's always
But there's always stuff I miss from those eras. Like there's things I do miss that I'm just like, okay, maybe some of these things were not so bad, but kind of just were. Some things best be left before that time and stuff, but some things I'm just like, man, I wish we still had some of that.
It's like, what is it? It's like cartoons that you've seen when you were a child.
Yeah, like you see the cartoons from that era, and
like I wish that was still around right now, man.
Yeah, it's like I've heard lots of stuff about that new Velma show, and I'm just like, everyone I've spoken to has said, oh, it's bad. It's bad, apparently.
Oh god. Oh no.
I haven't watched it, but I'm just like, I don't think I want to watch it after hearing people say how bad it is.
Right. Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
And reruns. Oh, it reminds me of Teen Titans, honestly.
Teen
And
Titans.
like the Teen Titans Go stuff, dude. Oh
Yeah,
god.
I watched
Mhm.
I watched obviously back in the day a bit of the old school Teen Titans, but then watching Teen Titans Go, I didn't find it bad. I found it pretty decent. Like
Mhm.
I watched most of it and I was like, oh, it's not bad. Like I mean, yeah, it's not so action packed like the old days Teen Titans,
Mhm.
and the art style is a lot more, I guess, kind of what would I describe it as, more quote unquote
It's like
meta.
more
It's
it's like it's like, what is it? Miniature is the way to say
yeah,
it. It's still like trying to adopt that, you know, what is it? Anime-ish, because that's sort of its original style, like the
yeah,
anime-ish style, sort of adapted to cartoons.
yeah.
Um but in this case it's like, I was gonna say like chibi, but it's not exactly chibi, but it's more like just miniature
Hmm.
and more, let's see, anime leaning, you know,
Yeah,
anime
it's
leaning.
definitely
Mhm.
like anime leaning with its style, and I mean there was
Mhm.
some stuff in there I was like, oh yeah, this is kind of good, and there was parts of me going, man, I wish they took the story a bit more seriously, but
Mhm.
I mean, a lot of
It
shows during the 2010s really just kind of stopped taking story so seriously and made it like the
Mhm.
whole Saturday morning cartoon vibe where it's like there's no kind of connecting plot lines as much.
Yeah. No, it's just sort of like, what is it? Cartoon junk food.
Yeah,
You know? Mhm. And
yeah,
it just doesn't feel exactly the best. It's like trying to be something. It's just trying to be Teen Titans, but
yeah,
it's more like Teen Titans masking just, what is this?
yeah,
It's Teen Titans masking, what the heck am I watching?
yeah. It's like Teen Titans gone
Mhm.
slice of life, basically.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I mean
Oh
there was
gosh.
some good plot elements in there, and there was some good sort of character building, and I was like, oh yeah,
Mhm.
okay, kind of cool. But
On
I don't know.
mm. Honestly, I didn't pay too much attention to Teen Titans Go. I like saw it for like a little bit,
Yeah,
and for like, I think like for the first few episodes that I saw, I was like, oh, oh, okay. And then as it progressed, I was like, this is getting a tiny more cringe. This is getting a tiny bit more
yeah,
cringe.
it definitely got more cringe
Yeah.
over time, and there was apparently,
Yeah. Hmm.
and I don't know, like there was apparently one episode or two
Hmm.
episodes where they actually referenced the old Teen Titans and kind of like saying,
Wasn't it like an interdimensional kind of thing where they were like going through
I don't know, like
or
I didn't
something?
watch the episode, but I heard about it and I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting how they referenced the old one. And
Hmm.
it seems like they were actually kind of genuinely interested in going back to the old one. But
Right.
maybe one
Hmm.
day we might see a new old school style Teen Titans.
Maybe one day we'll get back a story driven Teen Titans. Not the one that's
Yeah,
more adult based, because I mean, yeah, was it Young Justice, and was it the
yeah,
startings of a Teen Titans for that, you know? Oh,
yeah.
speaking of Teen Titans, I remember the freaking live action. Oh god.
I don't know
There's
if I
like a
watched the
live
live
action
action.
of Teen Titans. I've seen like little bits of it, and
It-
it's
it's something.
I'll leave it at that. It's uh,
It's just like we can't speak of it.
yeah. I won't speak of it. You know
Oh
how
god.
people try to adapt cartoon to live action.
Oh god, yeah.
It's rare to see a good one. It's rare to
True,
see a
true.
good one.
Like
Super rare. Good.
I remember
Mhm.
back in the day, like, because when I was a little kid, like, I used to love watching the OG Ben 10 and stuff when I was a kid. Like,
Ah, Ben 10,
and
dude.
the
Oh
OG
my
was good.
god.
OG was good,
Yeah.
and then they like Alien Force was okay, like it kind of was following along, but then they decided to make a Ben 10 live action movie of the OG sort of Ben 10.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh my god, dude. I remember, what is it? Was it Eon?
Yeah.
Beyond the main villain. Oh my
Yeah. I
god.
mean,
And the CGI, dude. Oh my god,
yeah.
don't get me started on the
Yeah.
freaking
I
CGI.
mean,
Jesus
I think
Christ.
they did. I think they
Hmm.
sort of looking back. I mean, this is probably me looking back with the nostalgia goggles because I haven't like watched it
Hmm.
in a long time. But back then, I thought, oh, that's kind of a cool plot line, kind of interesting.
Hmm.
And from memory, it was kind of decent, but
Hmm.
I don't know if I rewatch it today. Maybe my nostalgia goggles will be ruined, but who knows?
Hmm. I I remember seeing it and I just thought Ben 10 live action. Oh my god, that's kind of cool. But and
Yeah,
I'm seeing it of course now through my eyes of being infested with modern day film. And
yeah.
I'm thinking the CGI could be better.
Oh yeah,
I don't remember too much about the story, to be honest. I remember
yeah,
Eon, big villain, tried to. I remember Purple Fires even.
yeah.
I don't
Something
remember
like
too
that.
much, to be
Yeah,
honest. Like he's big bad villain trying to take over the world, I think.
yeah. I would have loved to
And then
see. I would have loved to see like an
mhm,
attempt to kind of go back to that and like maybe make
mhm.
another CGI live action. Because I mean, I feel like
Like
it would
one with better
suit well.
CGI.
I feel like it would suit well for Ben 10, like to do that
Hmm.
sort of thing. Because
When did Ben 10 even end, dude? Wait a second. Actually, hold up.
uh
Let me look this up.
so yeah, then they
Wait, because
had
it's been so long. Mhm.
they did bring back the series like kind of but meta era style, and it
Mhm.
I mean, me and my best friend Zach the Bros, we were kind of just like going, yeah, we're not gonna watch that. Nah, way. That
Nah.
it's just gone too kiddie and kind of too meta era humor.
Mhm.
Like,
It's gotten to like what things are now today.
yeah, it's become
Right.
what we didn't want it to become, and
Mhm. Oh, are you talking about the 2016 2021 version? Because
I
I'm
think
just seeing
that
it now.
one,
Oh
yeah,
my god. Yeah, this looks crappy.
yeah,
Oh my god. Yeah, no, it looks like a Teen Titans Go kind of looking kind of
yeah, it
deal.
looks like they went Teen Titans Go with it, and we were just like, oh
Oh
god.
Jesus Christ.
Like
No.
the last
Dude.
series that was actually decent
Mhm.
was like probably Omniverse, but it was starting to go in that sort of meta cartoon style in
R-
terms of the art style.
Right.
And I
Mhm.
was because that was the first thing that kind of turned me off from after like Ultimate Alien and other
Mhm.
stuff, and I was like, okay, I see where this is going, and
Mhm.
I sort of was like, yeah, I'm out, but
Bouncing off of this. Dude, the thing Ben 10 2005.
oh man, that long ago.
That's crazy, dude. Oh
Like
my
I
god.
was
17 years ago.
I was I think
No,
the
not even
first
17,
time
18.
damn. I think I was when
Mhm.
I first watched Ben 10, like it would have been about a year after it came out. I was like 6 years
Mhm.
old when that came out. And
Dude, oh my god.
damn, I was a kid watching that and I
Mhm.
was like, yeah, this is freaking cool. But
That's freaking amazing, dude. Yeah, I I remember the toy. I remember wanting the toy so badly.
oh
Remember
yeah.
remember the freaking Ben 10 toy?
Yeah. Oh yeah, like the Ben 10 Omnitrix sort of thing. Like, yeah.
I remember having that and thinking I was the coolest
Same,
Nephilim
yeah.
on the block, honestly.
I was like, yeah, this thing is
Oh
freaking
man.
cool. But yeah, like,
Mm.
but I would have loved to see the series kind of go more in the direction of like, kind of showing more of like the Ben 10,000 sort of thing, like the future and all that.
Going off and like dealing with the what is it like the Ultimatrix becoming like the having like the X forces and such.
Like just taking it in that direction where
Mhm.
it's like, hey, like imagine the Ben 10,000 series being like a thing where it's like you actually see that sort of Ben and like his kids or something kind of.
Oh yeah, yeah, the one with the beard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would have loved to see
yeah, I
that.
am.
I would
We
have
get
loved,
like a whole like what is it Spider Verse kind of deal, but for Ben 10.
yeah,
It's always it's. You ever notice how like all like long standing running fictional what is it world building
yeah,
ultimately leads to the multiverse?
yeah. Like
Yeah.
it's
Mhm.
interesting now because obviously like one of my favorite game series now, like Sonic, getting into the movie sort of space and actually sort of, and also into the TV space again, like with the whole
Oh, I have
that
things to talk to you about that with actually
yeah,
with
like
Sonic.
yeah, because they
Mhm.
got Sonic Prime now, and it's like,
Yeah.
I mean,
I was gonna
Sonic
ask about that.
Prime. My
Mm.
opinion on it has been, it's been pretty good, but I don't think it's as good as it could be yet. But
Mm.
but
Yeah,
it's
yeah. I think I agree with you actually. Yeah,
yeah,
it definitely could be. There's definitely some things I could be better with, but I'm liking it so far because it's
yeah,
like keeping real with Sonic. It
yeah.
feels like.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's like, I feel like Sonic Prime kind of feels like it's trying to go in that serious story direction, but it's also adding a bit of meta humor to it to kind of, I guess, keep the kids
It's
kind
trying
of
to spread.
watching.
Definitely. Let's see. Meta humor. Can you give me an example?
Like, you know how
Like
like it would,
anything?
like, you know how like for
Mm.
instance, like more so in the Sonic movie, but like, you know, in the Sonic movie how like Sonic did the whole, I think that sort of Fortnite dance and shit.
Oh God.
Yeah,
You mean stuff like that?
it's kind of
Yeah.
keeping that
No.
kind of humor a little bit sprinkled in Sonic Prime, from what I can feel.
Yeah. Hmm.
And I mean, it does fit Sonic though in some aspect, because Sonic being a character that's like a teenager, kind of, he's got that kind of hip humor,
Hip,
you could
cool,
say.
kind of hip with the kids kind of vibe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
Mhm.
like, and but he still has that sort of seriousness to him sometimes, where he knows he's got to be serious and he's got to kind of get the job done, sort of
Mhm.
thing. Like, it feels
Mhm.
like that, and
I
I
think I see
mean,
some of those aspects in Sonic Prime. Yeah.
yeah, and I feel like it makes sense though to kind of do that. Like, so I kind of am not so bothered by it, I guess, because it kind of
Yeah. No.
balances. But
Mhm.
there's that part of me that goes,
I,
man, can they just go serious, please? Can they just go serious?
can we just go 100% right now? Can we just skip the kid stuff? But it's. I think they're aiming for like the older. What is it?
Yeah,
Adolescents, not older adolescents, but like just sort of, let's say, middle school kind of vibe,
yeah, they're kind of aiming
maybe.
for like the middle school, high school kids, I guess, to kind of go, hey,
Mm-hmm.
watch Sonic Prime, and also trying to keep the fans of the
Mm-hmm.
series kind of wanting to watch, and it's good. Like, it's good they're
Right.
doing that. But
Mm-hmm.
I do hope that they kind of, with the next set of episodes they release, kind of start pushing more
Dude,
the seriousness of what's going on.
they left off at a cliffhanger,
Yeah,
and I'm like, you're gonna take forever, Netflix, to get it going again. Like,
yeah,
you release these 8 episodes in a chunk, and it's like you're gonna take forever to get the other 8 or 4 at least also into like a good chunk. Like,
yeah,
bruv, could you please,
yeah. It's like, come on,
please,
Netflix. But
just release the whole fucking season.
yeah, and
I would
it's like,
appreciate that.
yeah,
Oh
like
my god.
I know,
Mhm.
like the animation studio actually has done a really good job with it, and
They
I'm like,
did a really good job, honestly. They did a really amazing job with like the animation,
yeah, because it's
and I
apparently,
like.
I think the
Mhm.
guys working on Sonic Prime, I think they're some of the same guys who worked on like Generator Rex and Ben 10 and stuff back in the day.
Oh dang! Wow.
So
Mhm.
so I'm kind of like, okay, they know what they're doing. They definitely know what they're doing.
Mhm.
and
Right.
and
Mhm.
they know how to catch that sort of serious and kind of meta era crowd and stuff. So it balances
Mhm.
out well.
But still stay true to Sonic and all
Yeah,
the characters too.
they've definitely stayed
Mhm.
true to Sonic. Like, the one thing I was kind of annoyed at, I guess, during the 2010s, more so with Sonic, was like
Mhm.
with Knuckles, they kind of made Knuckles more the dumb character. And
Yeah, no, they made him like the dumb big buff boy.
yeah, he's like
Mhm.
which way's left and right? Like, come on. Knuckles is not that dumb.
He's not that. He's just sure he's a brute, but
he's
he's not like a dumb
he's
brute.
a knucklehead.
He's yeah, exactly. He's just a guardian of the Chaos Emerald. You know, he's just a chaos. He's just yeah, and that's just always what he was meant to be.
Yeah, he was a
Um.
guardian of the Master Emerald. He was on Angel
Mhm.
Island, and he didn't really have any interactions with a lot of people. So that would probably explain why he would be a little bit dumb sometimes, because he didn't get to learn a lot of stuff. But
I appreciate how like in the Sonic Prime series I don't remember too much, but I think they kept his skeptical nature.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
Knuckles
they
has
did.
always been skeptical. Yeah, which is great, honestly.
Yeah, they
So,
kept
and,
his
like, you know,
skeptical nature. They kept his
mhm.
interactions with Rouge really good, because like those two have had a lot of interactions in the series, and they both have
Yeah, like
very
that one. Dude, I appreciate how they started doing a thing
yeah,
um across situations. Let's just say, you know what I'm talking about,
yeah,
where like yeah, where Sonic are yeah with Sonic and such, with these
mm,
different situations, and I appreciate how the relationship between Knuckles and Rouge, and also Knuckles and Rouge in the what was it, first portion, let's say, of the series.
mm.
It's like those two are together,
Yeah, yeah.
um, going through this world. Hmm.
It's like you can just
Hmm.
see like at first I was kind of thinking, wait, why are they gonna have Rouge like right on Team Sonic, like kind of like just there at the beginning, and then I was like, okay, it kind of makes sense
Yeah,
now.
right. Hmm. It
Like,
was weird too at the beginning too. Like Rouge is just kind of her own, like she's on
yeah,
her own
because
essentially.
like you could say she's
Mhm.
never really been a main character of the series. I mean, in Sonic X, she was around like back in the day in
Mhm.
Sonic X, and in obviously some of the games she was a bit more prominent, but
Mhm.
she was never really one of the main cast. So
No, she's not part of the main team, but she's just kind of around. She hops
yeah,
in here and there.
yeah, and
I remember.
to see like her kind of come in as
Mhm.
a main, like so with the cast, and even have Shadow as a bit of a main kind of it. I was
Mhm.
like, oh, that's kind of a bit of an interesting development to have them kind of
I
there.
actually really honestly, some part of me really likes how the story is being told too.
Yeah,
Like what they're doing with the way they're telling the story, right? Like
yeah,
certain, here you go, and then what is it? Here's the situation now, but here it was back then,
yeah,
and it was really cool. I appreciate the interactions between Sonic and Shadow.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man,
Like,
dude, was it me or did you also get like Sonic 2 Adventure vibes?
yeah,
Without
I had some Sonic Adventure 2 vibes throughout the show,
right?
and I was like, oh man, this is good. But also, it's cool to see they're not really treating Shadow as like just the edgelord character all the time, and
No. Mhm.
also they're not treating him as like the one like who's just like the villain sort of character.
Mhm.
Like they're actually giving him like his whole anti-hero sort of vibe, and
It's true. True. It's great.
yeah,
Honestly, I like it.
it reminds
Although
me, it reminds me of the mid
mhm,
2000s era Shadow, where it's like he's doing his
mhm,
thing, but he's also a good guy.
mhm. I have to say though, I think I don't I think I'm a little bit kind of like taken aback with his. He seems more like emo kid, like kind of
Yeah,
like angry emo kid kind of kind of
yeah,
vibe, and I'm like, duh, ah, dude, oh
yeah,
no, he just because he's just I that one scene with him around. He's just kind of going around
yeah,
and such, and I'm like, dude, oh no,
yeah,
Shadow.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
He's not always just like, where's that damn fourth Chaos Emerald? Like he's
Chaos control. Oh my god.
like, but also they're not like portraying him as like the Sonic Boom Shadow, where it was just like, oh, like you and your pathetic friends. Like I'm just like, it's
Mm,
like, because I didn't
mhm.
like that take on Shadow. I was just like, man, that's not Shadow, bro.
No, that's not Shadow. You completely missed the point.
like
Congratulations.
like
You played yourself.
funny enough,
Mhm.
I think Sonic 06 did the best Shadow, because Sonic
Oh
06
yeah?
because Sonic
Sonic 06, that
06,
glitchy bastard of a
yeah,
game.
yeah, but it actually did the
Yeah.
best
Mhm.
Shadow story take, because he was with Rouge and Omega the whole time. He was a team with them. Like they had a friendship.
Yeah, and like Sonic Heroes and such,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, but this was like a really good side. Like it was showing Shadow like actually wanting to serve justice to the world, but also trying to beat Mephiles and not get manipulated by him. Like,
Right.
because Mephiles throughout that story was trying to manipulate Shadow to say the world will betray him and all this sort of stuff. Like they'll turn their backs on you. And
Oh my god, yeah.
and
Yo, dude.
and that was a good story
Mephiles.
take. Like I was like, man, like they really did Shadow justice in that game. And and like he actually got to have character development throughout that game. Like
Dang, I need to look back through it, honestly.
yeah, because he went from like the Sonic Adventure 2 Shadow, who was like not sure what Maria's wish was, to learning what Maria's wish was. Then he went to his own game where he had amnesia and had to rediscover his past.
Oh god, the whole the whole
Yeah.
shooter Shadow times.
Yeah, and then Sonic 06 really kind of actually finished his character arc where he went from, at the beginning of the game, like, yeah, he was obviously a good guy helping Sonic at certain situations, but also trying to, I guess, kind of adapt to being with Rouge and Omega and having teamwork and just kind of fulfilling his purpose, what he needs to do. And
yeah, no.
And it was really good to see, and I was just like, man, I kind of missed that Shadow, like the one that wants justice,
has learned, right?
Yeah,
And when the one who's like gone a long way from being this lone wolf kind of person to now being a part of a team that,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
oh, man.
being part of the
Sonic Heroes,
being part of that organization who originally attempted to go after him, but also like now working for them on their missions. And yeah, I was like, man, that's kind of cool, because it's like he put, at the end of Shadow the Hedgehog, at the end of his final story, he actually was like, I'm gonna move on from the past. I'm going to discard the past and serve Maria's wish of wishing for, I guess, peace in the world and all that sort of stuff. Like, instead of trying to go out and destroy it, like,
I'm gonna try and, you know, be a protector, just like this other damn hedgehog who's a poser.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like that faker.
Oh, man. That faker. The faker. Chaos control. God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But it was just so good to see, and then they just kind of left his character dead for a while, pretty much, in terms of what they were doing. And then they tried to bring him back in Sonic Boom because he's the edgy, popular character. And
which is so not the point.
Yeah, because there's that one episode where Shadow comes in Boom, and Eggman's like, it's only the second most popular character in the series.
It's only just, you know, the second most popular character other than me. Oh my God.
And I'm just like, oh God.
And bro.
And like some of the interactions between Shadow and Eggman in that were kind of funny, but then it was just like the Sonic Boom game really just took a bad dive in terms of Shadow's character.
God, what even? Hold on, I'm gonna look it up real quick. Like, Sonic Boom game.
Oh, that did not do well.
I remember it being cringy.
Oh God, yeah.
Like,
I pre-ordered. I pre-ordered Boom back in the day because I was like, yeah, it won't be that bad, surely. Oh, I was wrong. I was so wrong.
Man, wait a second. I'm gonna take a look at some videos real quick of the gameplay.
Oh, it sucked.
Oh my God, what the? I just saw a screenshot of it, dude, and it just looks so bad.
Yeah. Wait, so the devs behind Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric on the Wii U, the worst part was Sega was really rush jobbing the game. Plus,
No.
the devs, while they were like ex Naughty Dog developers and stuff like that, they had experience working on Ratchet and Clank and all that, and they were given an impossible task by Sega, because Sega decided, hey, we're going to put 3 exclusive Sonic games on the Wii U. So they were looking to find another game to fulfill that exclusive deal. And these guys were working on a project for the PC called Sonic Synergy at the time. And the game was going to be more taking a look at, I think, Sonic's origins or something like that. And
oh my god, finally? He's not just some sort of hedgehog found on the middle of a planet. Just came to Earth and was like, hey, I'm gonna protect you guys. Dude, look at how bad this is.
It's bad.
Look
it's
at
bad.
this.
So,
oh my god.
Like, I played the game, and yeah, it needed a
any like big ass glitches in it.
Oh, so
I feel
one big red flag with the game was, one, it was running on the CryEngine 3 engine.
Oof.
So Sega was like, hey, can you port this to the Wii U?
Wait.
They're okay.
Wait, let me show you. Let me show you someone's thumbnail.
Wait, I gotta
someone's thumbnail.
And I gotta bring back up Discord. Okay.
Look
let me...
at this freaking Knuckles, dude. He just looks stupid.
Wait, I gotta try and open this up. Come on, Discord, please load for me.
Oh my god, this thumbnail of Shadow is exactly what I'm like. Oh, look at that!
I play Sonic Boom, so you don't have to.
You don't have to, yeah. And I'm like,
yeah.
Why does Shadow look like Sonic here, dude?
That screenshot of Shadow would have been from the 3DS game, because they had cutscenes on the 3DS game, but. Yeah, like, Sega was like, hey, can you port Sonic Boom Rise Lyric to the Wii U? And they only had probably like 6 months to port it. And the game had barely been
6 months?
Yeah, the game had barely been in development, I think, for 6 months at that point, when they were told that. And I think the team were like, sure? Like, so...
We'll try.
So, and CryEngine 3 was not compatible with the Wii U by any means. Like, the Wii U was... Yes, it was more powerful than the PS3 and the Xbox 360. It was not as powerful as the PS4 and Xbox One, though. So...
No.
So, porting Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric to the Wii U was a really, really bad idea. And they were literally overworking to try and get this thing to even be polished enough to run. And
dude, I'm like,
and at the time,
look at this one thumbnail. Jesus Christ! When they ported the Wii U to 3DS, it's so bad. He's so pixelated.
Oh yeah. The 3DS version was actually way better. Than
I imagine, actually, yeah.
Like Zanzaru Games that worked on the 3DS version, they actually made a sequel in 2016-2017 as their final sort of Sonic Boom game. It actually was good. The sequel was good on the 3DS.
Good.
So they improved. They actually had a decent game, as Fire and Ice turned out decent. But man, the Wii U version, like, at the time, Sega like basically tried to brush it off and go, no, that was the devs' fault, not ours.
Bro,
excuse
me.
So everyone at the time thought that the dev team, like the director for Boom Rise of Lyric, was actually a bad person when he wasn't. Like, everyone at the time was going, man, this guy freaking sucks. He's done the worst job. And then
You done effed up my favorite blue hedgehog. Oh my god.
but thank goodness it was not a main series game. Because if it was a main series game, I think that would have been the nail in the coffin for the Sonic franchise.
That would have been just he's dead. He's not coming back from this.
Oh yeah.
Oh god,
Like,
no.
Like it would have been Sonic 06, but like worse for the main series.
Yeah, no, for real. Like that would have been
Because
like Sonic 06 was glitchy as all hell.
yeah, because I remember
Remember
the
it.
ratings for Sonic Boom Rise Lyric at the time. Like I was when I was 14 when that came out, I was predicting it would not get as bad as what it did.
Oh god, I'm looking at the animation for Sonic 06, like for one of the cutscenes. They had amazing shaders.
Yeah. Like,
but they tried to adopt anime to like 3D, and anime in 3D at that time just did not work.
Yeah, I mean, 06, no. Sonic 06 had a lot of good ambition, which, but at the time they had a lot of difficulties with the dev teams because they had to split off into Team A and B. And
oh god.
And the team...
Man, you gotta have solid communication there if that's the case.
Yeah, so they split off to Team A and B. The B team was going to work on a Wii port of Sonic 06 at the time. And that turned into Sonic and the Secret Rings later on. And Secret Rings did good at the time. It was actually praised as being a pretty good game at the time, especially for Wii controls and stuff. Whereas Sonic 06 came out and that just did not go well because, well...
Dude, I'm seeing people give this game a rating of 2 in their thumbnail. Look at this.
Wait, for 06 or for...
For 06.
I mean...
playing Sonic 06 against my will.
Oh, I mean, if I was to give a rating for 06 today, after actually playing it and stuff like that... I think it was kind of decent. Like it would be like a 5 to me.
I was thinking like a 4 since like, you know, you played it for you playing it. I actually haven't played it yet, so
yeah,
I don't really truly know.
But... I mean, if you're not a Sonic fan, like, or if you haven't played a lot of Sonic games, it might come off as a lot more jank. But if you get used to the controls of the game, and like, because Sonic's controls being... I mean, his controls were not the best in 06, but like, especially like the mock speed sections and the glitches and stuff.
Right.
The story element, I think, was probably one of the better things in the game, especially the soundtrack as well. But
soundtrack, what were... Didn't his world come from Sonic 06?
Yes.
No, not his.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. His world came from.
I was thinking some other songs came from what is it? The Night game that Sonic was in. Sonic being a knight.
Sonic and the Black Knight.
But that's also... Yeah, and that was also from Crash 40. That was a fun game. I remember.
Yeah, like
Sonic
Black Knight
and Sonic the Were-Hedgehog too.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Sonic and the Black Knight, at the time when it came out, was actually criticized a lot by IGN. Like they... Oh my god. They hated it.
They did not appreciate it. Oh god, no.
Like, but the general rating for Black Knight at the time was probably about 5 out of 10 sort of thing. I mean, if they ported that to modern consoles with like regular controls, I think it would actually be good. Like, I think it would do well. But
I remember Sonic and what is it, as like the Werehog.
Yeah, Unleashed. Yeah.
Sonic Unleashed. That was actually really, really fun. That was super fun.
That was at the time also... At the time, that was also received very mixed by reviewers. Like, everyone praised the daytime stages, but criticized the hell out of the nighttime stages.
The night stages.
I think my biggest complaint with the night stages was that they just dragged on too long. Like, I think that the whole idea of the combos system and stuff was good.
7 out of 10 by IGN. But GameSpot 3.5 out of 10.
Oh wow.
Oh my god.
That's
Yeah.
yeah. IGN originally they gave the PS3 and 360 version like a lower score than 06. And
For real?
yeah, IGN actually originally at the time their review was so trashed by everyone. Like
yeah, like I think everyone was like, "Bro, what are you saying,
bro, what
Who's
like
the rater here?"
like the guy on the review was going, "Oh, this is a hot piece of garbage," and I'm like, "What? What?"
What? This is a hot piece of garbage. This could have been Jesus Christ.
Like
No.
and
I bet more people have.
everyone was just like, "Bro, what? Like, what are you on?" Like, but then the PS2 and the Wii version got praised as being the better version by IGN. And I mean, the one advantage was in the PS2 and Wii version was that the Werehog stages were considered better in that version. But the daytime stages in the 360 PS3 version were so much better. Like, I think the fan base has really done a 180 on Sonic Unleashed in recent years. Like, back then, the fan base was very divided and mixed on it. Nowadays, the fan base is like, oh yeah, we kind of like it. It's kind of good.
Yeah, we kind of like Sonic Unleashed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like everyone was the same with Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. Like, everyone was like, at the time going, yeah, so good. Then they went to hating it. Now they like go back to loving it again.
Oh my god, Sonic fan base is just can't make up our minds, dude.
It's like everyone in the fan base, like everyone has different opinions in the fan base. Like some want to see more of the meta era humor, like from Sonic Colors and stuff, and I'm just like, no thanks. I don't want that, please. I want my serious Sonic story. And when Frontiers came out, I was like, finally we got something.
Wasn't it? I know there's some really buggy things with Sonic Frontiers.
Yeah, I think especially in the Switch version, yeah.
Yeah, that's the Switch version, definitely.
The biggest complaints I think have been like, yeah, the pop-in is a big issue. Like with the whole texture loading in, because Sonic's such a fast character, moving around an open world, it's a big challenge to try and get the pop-in to not be so bad.
Yeah, I imagine it would be a ton of work on like the engine, you know?
Yeah, and they reckon it is an engine issue, but other than that, I think the other big complaints I would have is the final boss was kind of lackluster of an ending, but I mean, other than that, I think it's just more some of the open world aspects after a little while can get a little tedious, but I think other than that, they actually hit a pretty good sort of solid foundation with Frontiers going forward.
Nice, yeah.
I think
I want to play at some point, honestly.
I think they did pretty well. Like, the director has been really sort of listening to the feedback and has been really going, all right, for the next game, we'll make sure we kind of improve on these things. Like,
good.
So,
yeah.
So they've been really vocal with the feedback. There's some feedback I go, no, don't take that, please, don't take that feedback. But
oh boy.
But because a lot of the Sonic fans just started like literally going at Kishimoto on Twitter and going, hey, this is my feedback.
Hey, this is what I think about about the game right now. It's kind of crappy in these portions, but crappy at these here.
And a lot of the times when they actually had constructive feedback, Kishimoto would come back and go, oh yeah, thank you for the feedback. We'll have a look and see what we can do.
Oh, of course. The whole what's it, tatemae of like Japanese culture, like the whole thank you thank you for the feedback. Yeah.
It's like, thank you for the feedback,
man, dude.
yeah.
Thank you for the feedback.
Yeah, but Kishimoto has been really good with that. But Kishimoto, right before the game release, he put up a tweet where he was actually like really nervous about how the game's going to come off to people.
Mhm.
Like, he actually sounded
Aw.
really nervous, and I was just like there going like getting into the replies, going like, "Hey man, like just go take the feedback with your chin and kind of keep going," and
Might not be as bad as you think, you know. Just
yeah,
get it told to you, and maybe you'll see that you know, you'll survive.
yeah,
And as long
and
as people aren't sending death threats, that's like,
yeah,
oh god,
like
yeah, no.
I think they hit a good solid foundation. The story was pretty good. Like, because they had Ian Flynn from the comics write the story, or kind of at least have involvement with the story for the Western
Yo,
audience.
nice.
So that was good. I was really happy they didn't bring back the meta era sort of, I guess, script writers, because I don't think that would have gone well. But
No.
and I
We got
don't dislike them, like, in terms of them as people. I just don't think their work was really what we needed in the franchise, to be honest. But yeah, like, they hit a good solid foundation, and they're actually planning to do a few DLC sort of updates over time, the game.
cool.
So that's cool. We're gonna get some new stuff coming out over time, and there's talk about potential to bring back multiple playable characters.
Hey, nice.
So
Got
I
any
want to
ideas?
see
Maybe
how,
like Knuckles and Sonic, or no, Shadow.
I wonder how they're gonna do it, because I mean, there's not really much in terms of the islands that I don't think Tails or Knuckles would be really useful for. But maybe we might just be able to play as them in cyberspace. Maybe, I don't know, like as a skin over Sonic. So it'd be like, instead of like, oh, you got Knuckles now, you can like play as Knuckles in cyberspace. Or I really hope they do more than that, though. I hope they actually make like another island or two where they could just go, oh, here you can use Knuckles for this stuff. Oh,
Right.
here you can use Tails to fly around and use his gadgets or something. And
Here you can use Amy, her big ass hammer.
yeah,
Oh man.
yeah, Amy in combat in Sonic Frontiers would actually be a really good option, I think. Like, I would love to see
You
that.
get, you know, you get to have her and her freaking hammer stuff. You know, yeah.
I think another thing that really could be improved on is the skill tree in Frontiers, because you kind of unlock a lot of the stuff really early on. So
Right.
so basically, not even halfway through the game, you've pretty much already got all the unlocked skills. So it's like, oh yeah, you can now use this, you can now use that. Cool.
Yeah. No, I think that would definitely add to the game, make it a bit more interactive, and make things
Yeah.
feel a bit more rewarding. I feel like,
Maybe,
because you know, like I enjoy leveling up and enjoy getting skills. Not early on in the game, but like throughout the game, and then like you reach this final point in the game where it's like final boss, and then you get your final upgrade.
I think
and then
I
you play all the
know.
game.
I think I know what would be good. Like, if you had Tails, Amy, and Knuckles have their own cyberspace stages, that would be good, because they're technically trapped in cyberspace. So I would love to see their perspective on cyberspace and what their memories are.
Like that'll probably come in as DLC stuff. Yeah, they could definitely add that DLC if they.
Because a lot of Sonic's locations in cyberspace, because they really reused a lot of like locations. Like, they had like a lot of it skinned as Green Hill, or skinned as Sky Sanctuary, or Chemical Plant, and I kind of and like there's one city sort of level sort of skin over different levels. I was kind of disappointed they didn't really flesh that out to have different locations, like a variety of different locations for each cyberspace level, but I can kind of understand why they did it, because it's like meshing all of the memories kind of together to kind of make it seem familiar, but it's not really familiar to Sonic. So if they did that for Amy, Tails, and Knuckles, we'd probably see some very different perspectives and different kind of locations.
I'll have to play the game so that way I understand more what you're talking about.
Yeah. Like, because a lot of fans are really annoyed because it's like oh, it's just reskin Green Hill again, reskin this again, because there's been a
Reskin. Oh god.
because there's
Yeah,
been
no.
a lot of that sort of nostalgia pandering in the last decade or so. Like, it's like Sonic Forces, Green Hill Zone again?
Green Hill Zone one last time, bruv.
Like,
Oh,
it's got really annoying, but I kind of forgive it in Sonic Frontiers because they kind of did it in a pretty particular way.
like it at least served a purpose.
That kind of served a purpose. So if we saw like Tails, I reckon it would be more, oh, here's Tails in, hopefully not bloody chemical plant, but like maybe Tails in like Speed Highway or something from Sonic Adventure, kind of like referencing that. Or
Speed Highway, hold up. Sonic. That's like the one with the slightly. Oh, this one.
Yeah. Like, imagine if you had like a level in Sonic Frontiers where you're playing as Tails, going through like a cybernetic version of that. Like that would be kind of cool. And mixing the locations with like other location themes. Like that'd be a
It would
kind of
definitely add a
epic.
bit more variety. Yeah, definitely.
And then like maybe have
definitely-
Knuckles kind of on maybe, let's see, maybe like Pumpkin Hill from Sonic Adventure 2, like have Knuckles.
Yeah, I figured because like that's definitely like those are definitely more of his style levels.
Yeah.
Just like going around trying to find emeralds and making things like Pumpkin Hill and such.
Yeah, except maybe instead of it being just like them having to serve their kind of missions, like they're just going exploring the level and getting to the end goal, kind of like Sonic does, just to make it interesting. So it's like you're kind of just beating a few enemies along the way and getting to the end. And you could do the same for Amy, like have a location that she'd be very familiar with from the past. So yeah, because I saw what they were doing with Sonic was like, oh, this is Green Hill, but it's using Unleashed's level layout, kind of, or it's like Green Hill, but it's using Skyrail from Sonic Adventure 2's level pieces. Like, which was kind of cool. They did that. Like, it was kind of a cool throwback to see some Sonic Adventure 2 level design. But
man, the top tier games too.
Yeah, they took it from the top tier games, which I was happy about. They didn't try and take level pieces from Sonic Lost World or Forces. Like,
or Boom.
Oh god, yeah, Boom. I mean, Boom would just be like a giant area, and go mash buttons to beat these enemies. Like,
oh god.
But yeah, I'm gonna quickly take a toilet break, but we will definitely be back in a moment. So
sure, yeah, we'll get a BRB.
All right, we'll do the quick BRB.
Do a quick BRB.
Alrighty, I'm back.
Oh wow, just in time too.
Yeah,
Oh man,
I just
I
like
wasn't too slow.
yeah, I just walked out of my room and and suddenly I was like, God damn, the rest of the house is freaking boiling hot.
Oh no, dude, I hate how that happened.
Oh man,
Oh boy.
I felt like I just walked into a sauna out there.
Oof,
I was
dude,
just,
I
oh
being
man,
on the opposite end of that, just being walking into a freezer, also not good,
oh
not
god, yeah.
pog. Mhm.
Yeah, it's like because I thought, oh yeah, I'm probably gonna have my air conditioning on just right from the get go before the podcast because I was like, all right, I don't want to suddenly have the room just heat up. But
Right. Mhm.
yeah, so yeah, but it's like they definitely reused a lot of level assets and themes for the cyberspace levels. So
Mm.
I mean, it could be seen as a good thing or a bad thing, but yeah, I do wish there was a bit more creativity with them, but they were still good, still enjoyable. So
Definitely would make it nicer. I feel like I definitely imagine. Mhm.
yeah, let's kind of move to a different topic. Let's have a
Let
look
us, let
and
us. What
see.
what else has we've strayed far away from the original topic that we
Yeah, yeah.
that we've started with, like like what is it, immersion, like
My
relationship
immersion.
between real life VTubers. Imagine that.
Yeah,
Real
it's
life
like
tubers
damn.
and VTubers. Hmm.
Yeah, it's like
Hmm.
yeah, I think we sort of, I guess, kind of talking about the immersion thing kind of did touch on the whole kind of cultural difference and unique challenges of VTubing to an extent. But
Somewhat.
I do think that there definitely is some cultural sort of challenges like when it comes to VTubing, especially in certain places in the world. And
Mhm.
I think
I mhm.
I think like the I feel like the European and like I guess kind of American sort of VTubing culture would be very very similar. So I don't think there'd be a lot of big differences in that sort of
Nah,
aspect.
it's kind of like it's like Europe and there's like largely speaking, at least with like English speaking, largely English speaking European areas in the US. I would say that they kind of lump into like Western culture in a
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
Hmm.
I have
Yeah, along
noticed.
with Australia as well.
Yeah,
Hmm.
like I have noticed. There is probably there has been a bit of a growth in some of the more, I guess, Southeast Asian countries for VTubing in recent times. Like I've
Definitely, I would say so.
I've
Yeah.
seen like a lot of like Indonesian VTubers kind of popping up, Singaporean VTubers, Malaysian sort of VTubers.
Oh, we definitely got Filipino VTubers.
Yeah, there's
Definitely,
definitely a
I'd
big
say.
scene. It looks like it just to me seems like there's a big scene for it in the Philippines.
Mhm.
Like,
Uh, mhm. I feel like some part of it is biased for me a little bit because like
mm,
I'm kind of definitely surrounded more by, oh god, by like Filipino VTubers.
yeah,
Because that's just sort of my preference. At the same time too, I think it's also like I think also that we are seeing a bit more representation. It's interesting, honestly,
mm,
how VTubers are introducing, you know, this bonding across cultures. We're
yeah,
getting like this melting pot of VTubers from different cultures, and they're all bonding together and having fun and being
yeah,
wackiest of friends. And I think it's wonderful, and I think that's amazing. Like,
yeah,
uh, one of the what is it? I'm pretty proud to see Millie and what is it? Millie and Enna. Those are from Nichi Sanji and
yeah,
Mista too. They're all at least Asian, but Millie and Mista, they're like either half Filipino or full Filipino, speaking Tagalog, or um, you know,
mm,
saying front up that they are, Filipino.
Yeah,
And apparently, I think one person, Luca, the Pog man, Pog,
yeah.
who apparently also understands some bit of Tagalog too, which is super interesting. And the guy is Australian, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
The
It's
guy's
interesting because
Australian.
there is
Mhm.
definitely a lot of Australian VTubers. Like, I mean, a lot of I never used to see a lot of Australian VTubers, and now we're starting to see a lot more, from what I can find.
I think just generally Australian streamers in general. I think it's starting to come up
Yeah,
a bit more
yeah.
now.
It's so
Mhm.
interesting, and like
It's wonder. I think it's wonderful for you actually.
yeah, and I'm noticing a really big interesting pattern with Australian sort of mainly VTubers. A lot of them do have some kind of like, I guess, different background as well. Like not like a typical
Mhm.
Australian background. Like a lot of them do tend to have some kind of background that goes back to Asia in some extent, from what I'm seeing.
Mhm.
So a lot of them do have like maybe say a Filipino background, or do have a Chinese background, or something like that. Just something that adds to the table what is unique about them in their sort of
Mhm.
experiences.
Oh shoot.
So
Yeah.
it's really interesting.
I'm also really happy to see, like, just connecting the whole cross-cultural aspect of it, that
Mm,
there are more Japanese knowing English or learning English and speaking English happening with VTubers and across streaming in general. It feels like, at
mm.
least some areas of streaming that I've been at, um, this few section where there's like Japanese speaking English or learning English. Like that's
Yeah,
really good to see in my eyes. Like it's pretty cool, you know.
yeah. It's really interesting, and it's like I'm like, I mean, I probably don't offer much of a unique sort of background, I guess, when it comes to my kind of VTuber sort of like IRL sort of life, I guess.
Mhm.
Like, because I mean, my background is a pretty general sort of Western, I guess, kind of background. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's like it's just so interesting now, like just seeing many different VTubers popping up from even places you just wouldn't expect, and you go, wow, okay, that's kind of cool. Like,
I haven't heard of this really cool VTuber. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It's super cool.
yeah,
It's wonderful. I think we're getting like this melting pot of all these different VTubers with different cultural
yeah,
representations, and it's so wonderful to see them all together. I
yeah.
think, and being friends and interacting.
I remember
Mhm.
one VTuber who used to do like this kind of meetup of other Australian VTubers, like and they used to go out for like I think like Korean hot pot and other stuff together. And I
Nice.
used to see the
Okay.
posts all the time, and it was like, oh, that it's the annual meetup, and I was like, hey, yo, like that's freaking cool.
Hey.
And
That's freaking epic.
this
Sounds like an
VTuber,
idea a certain someone and you should do, huh, Wolfy?
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Oh
damn,
man.
I don't know if Rio would like Korean chicken
Like to
or
go to
not.
Starbucks sometime. Oh, he would love it. Dude, he'd probably eat that stuff up. Honestly, I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
because I
lie.
mean, me and my friends, we love eating Korean chicken in recent times. So, I'd be
Oh
like,
man.
all right, let's just do a Korean chicken meetup.
And then afterwards go to Starbucks.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, it was gonna be like, but I'm on a diet, by the way. Oh man,
Yeah,
love
but
that man.
this particular VTuber who
Mhm.
used to do these meetups ended up moving to Japan recently, I think. So
Oh dang!
I was like, oh wow,
Wow.
okay. Like,
Mm. Moving
and
to Mhm.
I remember one, I think last year was it? Yeah, last year they were like, oh, like who wants to do like a birthday meetup? Like, who wants to come to my birthday? And I was just thinking, hey yo, like that'd be kind of cool. Like just suddenly doing a random sort of meet up, I guess, with a bunch of people for your birthday.
That would be definitely fun. That would be fun.
Yeah,
Or do like the usual birthday streams of VTubers where it's their birthday and they allow call-ins from friends. That's the
yeah,
usual, at least for like Hollow Live, and I think Niji Sanji as well. They just kind of call in on with each other and just be like, "Hey, what's up?
yeah.
Happy birthday! Or
Yeah, I've been trying to think about what I'm gonna do for a birthday stream this year, because
Dude,
my
same.
birthday
Honestly, I don't know. I
my
don't know what I
birthday's
would do
coming
for
up
my
pretty
birthday.
soon, so I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna
Oh
do.
God, dude, when?
Valentine's Day, literally.
Valentine's Day. Oh my God, literally in like the next few weeks. Oh,
Yeah,
wait a
I've been
second.
trying to think
I
what
don't know
I'm
when
gonna
Valentine's
do.
Day is.
Yeah. I think it's on a Tuesday this year.
14th. Oh my God. That's
Yeah.
right. 2/14. Oh my God.
I don't know what I'm gonna do for that. Because
Yo. Well, if you have anything up, let me know. I'll try to come by, and hopefully, if the time zones permit. Good.
yeah, because since my birthday's
Mm.
on a Tuesday, I'm doing a hangout with friends on Saturday, but it's an IRL hangout, so
Yeah,
yeah.
that makes sense. Mhm.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, Saturday party. All right, cool. Now,
Maybe you could do like a Sunday thing too, where it's like,
yeah,
well, like the Sunday before your birthday, for
yeah,
like
maybe.
streaming stuff, maybe if you want. Mhm.
Um,
Just
yeah, that's a
ideas.
cool idea. Yeah, like I might do something
Mhm.
like that. Like, because it's
Mhm.
like it's like, damn, it's like I'm gonna be 23, bro.
23. Dang, dude.
Yeah,
Man.
it's like I'm gonna feel old already.
Dude,
It's
no.
like,
23.
but it's like I decided like I'm gonna like have my IRL party be called "Nobody Likes You When You're 23," just to reference the Blink 182 line. So
Blink 182 song. It's okay.
I was like, all right.
The one
So that's just gonna be the theme. It's just gonna be emo music probably. Yeah.
all by Blink 182.
Imagine it all by Blink 182, but nah, it's gonna.
Honestly.
I've got a big giant playlist on Spotify for emo music, so
Hey, oh wow. That'd be
that's gonna be something.
it's gonna be something indeed.
Yeah, it's like I'll have to share with you my playlist.
I know a mutual of ours that would probably like a good emo playlist.
I might have already sent it to her, maybe.
Perhaps. Oh, okay. I guess you already beat me to it.
I probably did beat you
Yeah,
to it.
most likely. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Let me just see if I can send this. Like, I have a particular name for the players because it's also referencing my usual sort of party events I like to do sometimes.
nice,
Let
dude.
me just.
Nice.
There we go. Playlist should be there. Yeah, I
Yo, be
literally
sure to take a listen to it. 11 minutes with Oh my God, Halsey, dude.
yeah.
Yo, didn't she like collab? Yeah, she was featured in another song.
Yeah, she was also featured in
Uh,
an MGK song as well.
of course, Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
Yeah,
Oh my
there's like
God.
there's 1,206 songs on that playlist.
The 1,206 songs. Dang, dude, you're just stacked up with the freaking
I've even got some like not all of them are particularly
crawling in my crawl.
like, and not all of them are
Hmm.
particularly like just emo sort of songs, but a lot of them
Hmm.
are also like just general sort of rock songs, new metal, kind of metalcore stuff. Like
I see. Mhm.
it's but I call it emo because it's like it's rock stuff. It's good.
Rock stuff is always good. It's always appreciated. Someone in chat just went, "Cool, how am I? I'm doing good. How are you?" But
Hey yo, we
yeah,
got Hungry Yoshi in the chat.
let's go. Why are you always hungry, Yoshi? I mean, hungry Yoshi is well, Yoshi is always hungry, I guess. So.
Yeah, true.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's sleepy comfy Saturday, and then for me it's just the Sunday. Like
Honestly,
it's like
it's a
sleepy.
sleepy, comfy Saturday for me. Mhm.
Yeah. Whereas it's a sleepy Sunday, just go into the afternoon sort
Mhm.
of vibe.
Mhm.
It's-
Just two pals talking about whatevs, you know.
yeah, yeah. I
I
think
feel it.
we're doing pretty good. I think.
Yeah. Is there any more topics that JTP chat
There's
asked about? So
definitely a
yes.
lot of stuff. Like I even sort of just was like, give me some topics about a podcast about anime and shit.
Right.
And
Like just.
it's like the
Mhm.
rise of esports and competitive gaming. And it's like, I mean,
Excuse me. How does that have to do with anime? With
how does
anime
that?
VTubers. Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's like, let's go back to VTubers. The
Mhm.
community and fan
Also,
culture surrounding VTubers. I mean,
ooh, yeah, no, that's gonna be. I mean, with things like parasocial relationships and like
um,
you have like what corporate culture like between fans and streamers are like, and then
Uh, I guess we could kind of move
mm,
into the corporate culture, I guess, with VTubing, because like we have sort of
mhm,
touched a bit on like Hololive, Niji-sanji, and there's a bunch of other ones out there. Like some that are pretty small, I guess, like have maybe one generation of VTubers,
mm,
and
right.
yeah, because it's like you've got some of the smaller ones, like you've got recently, like I know Kawa Entertainment's been around a bit. Like they've been
Mhm.
talking about auditions for different sort of VTubers, and they seem to be much more laid back on their, I guess, kind of restrictions, you could say.
Right, the rules and such.
Yeah,
Mm, mhm.
like I remember
Actually, you know, I have a I have a what is it question for you actually.
yeah.
Would you ever join a corporate VTuber like corporate VTuber company? And if so, like why not, I guess. Mhm.
Um I have
Mhm.
toyed with the idea. I will say I have definitely applied for some in the past to
Mhm.
join. Um, I'd say to an extent, yes, I would join.
Mhm.
More so on the ground that like I would join some where I can still keep my say current VTuber model and kind of keep sort of somewhat
Mhm.
myself. Like, but I don't mind the idea of having some kind of corporate kind of leverage to an extent because
It's all it's always really nice if you're able to have like, you know, there's like these associations of people who can like do
hmm,
your PR for you, who can get you connected with people who like
yeah,
would do music videos and collab and like, you know, do creative project collabs with you.
yeah,
Of
exactly,
course though, it also means that you have like deadlines and quotas you have to meet.
yeah,
Hopefully at some point, you know, yeah, try
yeah,
to meet those. Mm,
yeah. I've sort of looked at it as a perspective where it's like if I joined a corporate
mhm,
VTubing sort of agency, like I would join them on the basis that like they're going to be able to offer me some kind of support, like and offer me kind of some tips going forward, like how to be better at what I'm doing, how to
mhm.
just like what sort of like maybe merch lines I could release or what sort of stuff I can kind of do to expand my brand out there.
They would probably also like do data analysis for you because they gotta
Yeah.
you gotta it was interesting to me. I was like looking through some analytics today on my end,
Hmm.
just sort of seeing what I can learn from that and just sort of learn how to be a better entertainer from the data that I'm collecting, you know, from people who
Yeah.
watch my stuff, who interact with me on stuff. And it's like that stuff is very useful. Of course, it's kind of scary to look at that, but at the other
Yeah.
hand too, yeah, that can also probably be a basis for, you know, people who are part of like this VTuber corporate company to help you with. They could just
Yeah.
analyze the data for you, and then they could be like, okay, so here's what you need to do based on the things you've been doing in your streams and such, and maybe you can try these. Well, stating what the data state in terms of what it means for like, and I'm thinking mainly for YouTube, but maybe this could be the case for other platforms too that take viewer, take viewer information
Yeah.
that with regards to a stream, And so
Yeah, it's like
Mhm.
it really just varies on, I guess, how much kind of uh freedom I guess you're kind of willing to give away in some
Mhm.
aspects, like in return for, like, I guess a lot of support with what you're doing, plus
Mhm.
like kind of potentially kickstarting your kind of, you could say, career as a content creator or a VTuber. Like,
Mhm.
it's like,
You definitely have a
what
big
would you
push.
trade? Like, I mean, like when I didn't have a VTuber model, like I was more, I guess, kind of okay with the idea of, like, say Hololive or someone kind of being like, oh yeah, we'll create a model for you, and we can kickstart you and kind of get you going, sort of thing. Like, I was okay with that
Mm.
whole idea. But now that I have a live 2D now, I'm kind of like more, okay, if a VTuber company was to approach me and say, hey, would I be willing to join? It would be
Right.
more on the basis of, okay, do I get to keep my model, and do I still get to keep the rights to my VTuber names, you could say.
Mhm.
And
Because like
there's
you already invested in a lot of this time
I've
and effort,
invested I've invested some time and effort, and
It's like I would
like,
like to keep this, please. Like
yeah, and I think there's a few
keep. Mhm.
VTuber sort of agencies out there that I would be like pretty inclined to join if I had the chance.
Mhm.
Like, I know that
Hmm.
Kawa Entertainment would be one that would be really good, because they're pretty hands off with everything from what I hear, but they're also willing to be more
Mhm.
hands on if you're asking for that kind of thing. So they'll kind of help
Wow,
you.
that's really nice, actually. That's
Yeah.
super nice.
So they'll kind of help you when you sort of need it, and if you don't need that sort of
Mhm.
help, they'll be more hands off and go, okay, you do your thing.
Hmm.
Like,
Mhm. I gotta think like that. Like if you're gonna be a part of this streaming company, then it's a company for a reason. You're contributing something to
yeah,
them.
you're contributing
Not just
to, like,
yeah.
you're basically
You know,
joining them to fulfill kind of the
right? Like income,
um
like income.
yeah,
Like influx of money at least.
you're providing them with some
Mhm.
kind of, like,
Mhm.
income to an extent, plus they're also giving back to you through support, and
Mhm. You're also
maybe,
giving back to them by PR as well because you're an
yeah,
entertaining streamer.
like,
So
you're
yeah.
like,
Mhm.
I sort of tried to, with a lot of the companies that I did apply for in the past, I kind of tried to more so push, say, the podcast idea to them and be like, hey, like, I'm doing this podcast thing, would you guys be kind of interested in that sort of thing? Like, having
Mhm.
a podcast series that could potentially reach more people and more potential VTubers, and get to kind of learn more about the different things going on, like in the VTubing
Mhm.
world, or in the general sort of otaku culture, or anything like that. Like, because that's what
Mhm.
I think, have aimed to make this podcast kind of become over time, is be a podcast that gives people a platform to kind of talk on and share their interests and ideas, and just get to learn more about people, but
Mhm.
also
Mhm.
just be a broad sort of spectrum and not really stick to just necessarily one lane, because I don't want to sort of, I guess, have this podcast kind of be just a gatekeeping to one thing.
Mm. Yeah. I I'm thinking about that for a little bit because uh that definitely is nice, you know, to be able to talk about a lot of anything and talk about a lot of anything deeply and
Yeah, I sort of
right.
I like to keep
Mhm.
it broad. Like I want to keep it
Right.
like so it's like combine things like say anime, video games, like just
Mhm.
kind of streamer culture, kind of. But it's like
Mhm.
but it's all general
Yeah, at the
content
same
creation.
yeah, at the same time, I also feel like uh if you know, if you can be like that could be like people would then be like what is kind of the point?
Yeah,
You know.
true.
Some
Like
people yeah, some people would be like, you know, and you know, it really just depends where you want to go with this. It doesn't really if you want to factor this in, if you don't want to factor this in.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Like
kind of meh. Mhm.
yeah, it's like because you could look
Mhm.
at like the people I've interviewed in the past. Like a lot of them, yes, have been VTubers or have been involved with the VTubing scene to an extent. But
Mhm.
also, a lot of that was more so in the beginning because a lot of my friends were VTubers. So I was like, okay,
Right.
well,
Mhm.
I wanted to start building kind of the building blocks of the podcast by talking to friends. And then hopefully eventually it would lead to more other types of interactions where it's like, okay, now I've got a VTuber or someone that has been involved in kind of this particular outlet of like the content creation world, and or it's like now I've got this person who does this kind of thing, but it's all very similar.
Right. Mhm.
It's all very similar stuff, but it's not necessarily the same like kind of
Yeah.
thing each
It's like
time.
same general field.
Yeah,
Well, what is it? Yeah, same general field, but just sort of certain subsections to it.
yeah,
Mhm.
and it's like you could look at the team call well, not necessarily just my podcast, but you could look at
Mhm.
say Trash Taste, for instance. Like Trash Taste kind of started as the quote unquote anime podcast, but
But
it's
then they like sort of branched out eventually.
yeah, they branched out
Mhm.
eventually and it became three dudes kind
Talking
of
about and arguing about freaking chicken and bones and chicken
yeah, boneless
bones.
chicken or talking about bidets and stuff and like
Yeah, oh my god.
but
You
also
know,
but
there's a podcast on the Hollow Life side of things that
okay.
you know that they started because it started out as just they started out because they just were literally three friends that just got together and talked about a lot of stuff. They realized they could just
Mm.
talk forever about anything, and it's literally it's called Chadcast. Have you heard of it? Have you seen it?
Chad um I f- maybe like I know I know that some Holy Live members did some kind of podcasting, but I wasn't sure if it's the same. Uh,
Mori B,
I
Bay,
think it was
Hako,
that one. Yeah,
Senden,
yeah, yeah.
Iris.
I didn't
Yep,
actually
yep.
know they made it an official podcasting. I thought it was only like
No,
a
they
one-off.
did. I know, right?
Yeah,
Oh my god.
but it's like also another podcast that kind of developed over time. I remember the early days, and I think Project Melody sort of rebooted it after a while, and that was the
I
Lewdcast.
know what you're talking about. Yeah, Lewdcast. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know what you're talking
like
about.
that. I remember the early days when
Mhm.
they first started that, when Project Melody and the others were still kind of indie. So, like,
Mhm.
and I remember she had like a few different people on at the time. Like, she had Snuffy come on. She had, I think Iron Mouse at one point, Mary, like,
Right.
and
Mhm.
then after a while, I think they stopped doing it, and then they came back and rebooted it, I guess. So
Yeah, I think so. Mhm.
yeah, and now you've had Shy Lily go on there, you've had Numi go on there.
All sorts of people, dude. All sorts of people.
You had
Mhm.
Vox go on there. Like
Oh my god, yeah, that's right. Vox did go on there.
I saw some of the clips to that, and I was like, oh okay, well this is a very interesting combination.
Vox is such an interesting character, dude.
Yeah, he seems like such an interesting dude.
Oh,
Like
I yeah, honestly like I think about one moment when this one conversation where he was just talking and the subject of balls came up, and I just remember distinctly him saying my balls.
Oh god.
And I'm like, oh bro.
Oh god.
What?
I think Vox is Australian, eh? I think he is. Like from judging
Is
from his
he?
accent.
I,
Like,
I think he's from the UK. Is he not?
I don't know, like his accent actually does have a very Australian feel to it.
Might be from hanging around Luca a bit too much.
Maybe.
But yeah, no. I think he's like
No,
more
I guess he
EU.
is
I think he's more
British. Like he
EU
has a
-ish.
very Australian feel though to him. So weird.
He might be having some friends. He might have like other than just Luca, but he's
Yeah,
probably
because I
been
was
around.
just like when I
Mhm.
first heard Vox, I was like, that sounds so distinctly Australian to me. Maybe it's just maybe because too much similarity between Australian and British, I guess, accents to an
Yeah,
extent.
isn't it also the case that like different parts of Australia have like different, what is it?
Like
Less like
different
dialects, but
dialects.
like versions. Yeah, like dialects and I guess versions of an accent, of an Australian accent.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there is some differences. I would say probably not as
Mhm.
much as how the UK has like literally nearly every county has something different about it, but
Right.
in
Mhm.
Australia, there's probably certain words that would be different if you say go to South Australia or go to Victoria, maybe like different words for different things.
Like a rubber.
Well, yeah,
Mhm.
like a rubber. There's
Mhm.
like, but
Rubber being an
also
oyster. I remember.
yeah, but also you go like if you go from
Mhm.
say Sydney, like Sydney side kind of English, like Australian English, like in Sydney, it's more probably just not as so much of an accent. But then when you get further out into the countryside in Australia, it's like oh yeah, like the slang is real, like
Oh boy.
or even
That's
just
where you
some of
get
the
all of
different
them.
suburbs, because some of the suburbs in like particularly my region, like Western Sydney, it's like you
Mhm.
have certain subcultures, I guess, where it's like different, like some areas will have certain groups of people from different countries more of, and
Hmm.
like they'll all have their own slang terms and stuff.
Right.
So it's like there's one term here you get that gets thrown around quite a bit, and it's the term eshe. And
Oh, what's that?
if you think about like it's a weird way I look at it, but it's like if you think about the whole Slavic sort of gopnik culture, like
Slavic Gopnik?
the whole sort of like how there's the typical sort of Slavic gopnik they call it, where it's like they're wearing like the Puma sort of clothing and they got like the bum bag and they're kind of like the hood sort of type people. It's
What in the name? Dude, I looked
it's
up what the heck a Slavic. How do you spell
okay.
Slavic?
Hold on.
Slavic.
I think it's like that. I'm pretty sure it's like that. But
Okay, Gopnik, dude.
but
Uh,
wow, get to
I looked
Google
it up
Eshe.
and oh god, wait. I looked it up, right, and
Yeah.
I typed in Slavic Glopnik, and I was like, I get science studies of like risk
Oh god.
perception of Slavic people, and I was like, that doesn't
That's
seem
not,
right to me.
no.
What is this?
So, but
Okay,
the
wait.
typical sort of Eshe is basically someone that
What am I looking at? Wait, let me show you this one image. I
oh
looked
god. Okay, yeah, that's the typical Russian
Okay.
or typical Russian Gopnik or
Okay.
Slavic Gopnik, but
Okay,
yeah,
so that's a Gopnik.
Um,
So then, what the heck's an Esche then?
but an Eshe is very similar in my opinion, because it's like they wear Adidas tracksuits, they wear like I think they wear like Yeezys or something, and
Uh,
and yeah, like they're typically at
interesting.
train stations. Like if you get off at a train station at night, they're gonna be the types of guys that are around. They're pretty
Oh my god! Wait, so it's like a personality like an archetype in a sense.
Kind of, but like
there's like these general kind of guys always
yeah,
asking for money. Wait,
yeah, they'll be like
Mhm.
either going like asking for money, or they'll just have like a knife ready to want to stab you, sort of thing. Or
I
it's
have such the weirdest connection to this to Japanese culture.
right, yeah.
So I have like a weird connection for these types of people in Japanese culture. There's
Hmm.
like host clubs, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So there's host clubs, and you have these guys on the street trying to pick up girls, trying to get them to the host clubs because that's how they that's part of like sort of the advertisement. What they
Right.
come off as just like persistent. What is it? They're just like persistent,
Oh yeah, yeah.
somewhat like pervs, not really pervs, but they're just like annoyingly persistent
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
trying to hit on girls and such.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's like the connection I'm making right here, where it's like you
Yeah.
have host
That's
um host club advertisers, and then you
yeah.
have these essays people.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, like these
Mhm.
essays, they're like they'll be at train stations, and they'll just like
Mhm.
ran at night, probably doing their own sort of like kind of hood sort of shit, and
Mhm.
they'll just be like, they always have like a particular accent to them, and they're always like, oh yeah, essay brah, and it's like, what the fuck.
What?
Yeah, they have
What?
they they got like this
That
weird
sounds
kind of
so sus.
yeah, you gotta research more on
Mhm.
SJs. It's funny though, and
Oh my god. I better see some funny ass
like
videos, dude. Explaining
because like I
Shane.
compare it to the Slav kind of culture with like the Gopniks, because Gopniks are very similar vibes, and yeah, there's a lot of TikToks and funny stuff on SJs. That's true, and
I see.
And I compare it to the Gopniks because the Gopniks wear the same type of clothing style, and they literally like. I mean, Eshe's probably not so much. I guess would be the whole like, yeah, they're just carrying vodka around sort of thing, but they'd probably have some kind of alcohol, probably, or a cigarette or something,
Hmm.
and they'll just be like trying to just cause shenanigans for people, pretty much.
Oh god.
Like
No.
there was
Mhm.
a TikTok, I was watching this American guy reacting to Australian TikToks like that only Australians would understand, and like there was one stop where it's like this guy's on a train going on next stop Campbelltown, and like suddenly it's like, oh yeah, that's gonna be an area where some essays will hang out. because it's literally got a guy suddenly going like, yeah, essay rah, and then this guy's like, oh, what the fuck.
Yeah, it's like what the heck? Oh my
Yeah.
god.
It's like the
Moe
Moe
guys.
guys. Oh yeah, like a lot of them typically
Mm.
also have like particular moustaches, or they'll have like a mullet sort of haircut. Like it's so true.
That's
It's
their style. That's so gross. Honestly,
Aussie Eshe
it's kind of
lifestyle
gross.
pack. Yeah,
And
that's
they
so true.
apparently, and they also apparently have like a cigarette in their ear. Oh, what?
Yeah.
Smoking.
Yeah,
What?
yeah. That's definitely typical Eshe.
Oh god,
Yeah.
dude. Oh
Oh god, yeah, it's
no.
like Rebel, like go to Rebel Sport for their clothing, and then it's like Everlast, yeah, Everlast sort of stuff.
Oh,
Or it's like
oh, that's
yep,
gross.
or it's like Centrelink for the benefits and stuff. Yeah, that's true. That is your typical typical Eshe.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, it's a definitely a subculture.
It's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle choice for them.
It's a lifestyle choice.
But also a lot of them tend to be
Aussies.
a lot of them tend to be listening to drill rap as well.
Drill rap.
Like they'll listen to either UK drill or sort of Aussie drill rap. Like for instance, there's a pretty big Australian drill band now, or drill group, 1-4, which actually happens to not be too far away from my area where they grew up.
Oh, fun. Imagine you got a lot of essays there then.
Yeah, there's some regions near me that have a lot of essays.
Bro, no.
Yeah.
Oh god.
But 1-4, their music is good. I gotta admit, they have some pretty good music though. But
Time to adopt the essay, bro.
time to crank up the essay, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, time to crank up the essay, bro. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
And you
like
said this is rap, right?
it's like drill rap, yeah. So like
Drill rap. Okay.
yeah, so they have like a lot of particular music.
Interesting.
They've also collabed with another Aussie artist, the Kid Laroi, as well. So
Kid Leroy.
yeah,
The
like
guy who went like, oh, wow.
yeah, like
Dang.
they've done a few collabs with stuff, and that's pretty good. Like
Interesting.
because the whole idea of like 1-4 is that they grew up and didn't have a lot because I mean the area they grew up in, it's not the best area, and it's kind of like, to me it's kind of like very similar to the sort of underground rap scene kind of, because a lot of the areas where they were disadvantaged, like you have a lot of the underground rap sort of come up. But yeah, they're pretty good with what they do, and they had some pretty interesting beginnings to their stuff. So yeah, but it's like their rap style, like it's good rap, but I mean it's unique to an extent. So
they're iconic.
yeah, they kind of grown to be iconic in some way. Like they've been getting noticed around the world, so that's kind of cool.
That's good. That's good at least. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's stray into another topic, and then maybe we'll end after that.
What does ChatGPT have for us?
What does ChatGPT got?
Let's go. Let's see it.
Okay. The use of VTubers in marketing and advertising. Okay. I mean, it's
like that fun.
That's a very interesting one because, like we were talking about off stream, like we were talking about how Fifi did that sort of big giant billboard.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's
her product.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Like that she did that, and then she got a bunch of her like friends to be up on the board as well. Like
there's like us also like other what is it? There's also Hololive VTubers as well, also getting their stuff promoted. I know Ina and Gura.
Yeah.
Well, not even stuff promoted. They just got promoted.
Yeah. Like I remember seeing some posts, I think maybe a year ago or so, like some VTubers, like the Hololive VTubers in Japan, were getting promoted in like the metros and stuff, like in Tokyo and that. And I was like, oh wow, okay, that's kind of cool.
It's honestly crazy.
Yeah.
It really is.
It'd be funny if like if we suddenly started promoting like VTubers in the Sydney metro or some shit. That would be funny. Like I'd love to see that.
I think it'd be really cool. Honestly, I think it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Like I can't imagine them doing it out here though, because Ashay, bro.
Ashay's like, what is this, bro?
Yeah, what is this? What is this thing?
VTubers?
Yeah, it's like VTubers.
Oh man.
Yeah, like oh man, I can't wait to see an Ashay VTuber. That's got to happen someday.
Ashay VTuber. What even, dude?
That would be something. That would be something to see.
That would.
Like they'll probably be they'll probably be just talking like, "Oh yeah, you mad dog, mate." What? And they'll be like, "Oh my god."
Oh god. Oh god.
Oh no! Like I actually wanted to look up Eshe terms now because like I know some, but
you know some Eshe terms.
Yeah,
Oh god.
What is an wait? Wow, there's an article. The Trend Spotter. What is an esche and how to spot them?
Makes it sound like they're freaking like out for no. They wait. You said people said that they normally ask for money. Like what? The
Yeah,
heck?
some of them do.
Hey, bro, viewer, you got money? donate to my coffee, bro.
Esche
Oh my
language.
God.
Esche lads use the eloquent combination of modified Pig Latin and profanities. You can use your own imagination
Pig
about
Latin.
swear words. But it will
Oh my
it's generally crude enough to make a sailor blush. What the okay.
What even?
Common
What
phrases in the
even?
urban slang called ilche, meaning chill or relax. I've never heard of that one before, but okay.
What?
It's like ilche. It's like
Interesting. Okay.
yeah. Adlay meaning lad.
Ilche.
Okay. Oh yeah, gronk is just an Aussie term in general. An annoying person is a gronk. Yeah, that's true.
I see. Okay.
Staunching, stealing from someone. Okay. It's like the word esche, while referring to the subculture and lads that belong to it, can also mean run. This is why you shouldn't be too alarmed if you hear someone shout esche and then a whole bunch of youths run off. Okay. However, it's advisable to move out of their way so you don't get shivved, which means stabbed. Okay.
Yeah. To get shit. I mean, I could probably determine that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it even goes into what brands do esches wear. Oh god, yeah.
The Yeezy stuff, right?
They also have off-brand shit, so yeah, like
Oh god.
it's like popular choices in an esche subculture include Nike, Adidas, Nautica, Lacoste, and Tommy Hilfiger. Okay. These
heard
luxury
that one, other one.
brands are also a flex because having them means you have money. Often it shows that you're benefiting from crime such as break and entering and selling drugs. Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the esche culture. Oh yeah, Nike TNs, of course. They have to wear Nike TNs. Speed dealer sunglasses. Okay. Yeah, this is a typical esche. This is typical.
Interesting.
Oh man. Esche slang.
I'm
Oh
worried about
god.
esches, bro.
Oh yeah, like most of them will say instead of for sure they'll go like, oh, bet, like, because I mean that's the short, which makes sense. Yeah, they use the word cap like as well, like that's true.
Oh no. Oh no, cap.
This is apparently
They've been using
esche.
cap. They've been hip before hip was even a thing, apparently.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they have a lot of the same sort of terms we use as well, but like they also have a lot of their own terms.
Okay.
Oh yeah, just skirt. Like skirt. Okay.
Skirt. Dude, they sound like the equivalent of hoods.
Oh yeah, they are literally hood.
They're hood culture. Okay,
They're hood
that
culture.
makes sense. They're literally.
They
hood
love to pick
culture.
fights and
Okay.
stuff. Like that's just their vibe.
Oh god, that is very much hood culture. Okay, never mind. Okay, yeah. They are hood. Yeah, so just
the habitat of the
okay.
esche. The habitat. Yeah, they've long been around Sydney and now reportedly branching out into other areas across the nation. Esches are said to have spread from Sydney's inner city graffiti scene in the 80s through housing commission estates and out into the suburbs. Which is
They're spreading.
They're spreading.
The esches, bruv. The esche virus.
It's like, oh, you the esche, bruh. Yeah, one.
Shit, bruv.
Yeah, one esche's like, oi lad, I stopped some lad down at the station yesterday. Yeah. And then one's like, oh nah shit bruh, you roll him? Good. This is typical sort of Eshe culture.
What even?
Yeah, Eshe culture is funny though as hell.
I imagine, honestly, imagine the funniest stuff that goes on at
God, yeah.
subways to be honest.
Oh yeah, like picking fights at the train station. Yeah.
Picking fights at this train station.
Oh,
Like
man.
shit, bro. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Oh,
I like how we went from what is it? Advertising and VTubers and entertainers to
Eshes.
freaking Eshes.
It just makes sense. Like the Eshes advertising themselves in the subway. Eshe VTuber.
Yeah, next to them VTubers.
Oh god, that would be such a contrast between VTuber and Eshe.
Right.
Oh man, can't wait for the Eshe VTuber.
Right.
That imagine. I just want to see that just happen. I want to see just one be like, yeah, I gave up my life of crime for the VTubing world.
Not my life with the hood.
My life with the hood.
Oh man. You all have heard of anime. You all have heard of the hood. But have you ever heard of the hood anime?
The hood anime.
The anime hood live.
Damn, imagine.
And it's like Eshe, but instead like they changed up the hood to being like the Ahegao hood. Like the mullet and everything.
Oh god. Oh god, no, I can imagine that just be worse. I can imagine branching into a hentai.
Oh my god.
Oh god, I can imagine an Eshe hentai. Like it's about the Aussie Eshe hood.
Jesus.
Oh god. I mean, I thought Howzos was enough of a show. Like Howzos was a really funny show back in the day. Like
fun.
What
was it about?
So Howzos is literally the kind of low class Australia culture. And it's like there was even another series called Fat Pizza.
What kind of name?
Yeah.
What?
Oh man. Like it was an actual TV series.
Yeah, like what name?
So
wait,
there's a YouTube
with a name
channel.
like Fat Pizza. I imagine like you need that to be about like it's a hilarious series about a pizza shop and its wild employees. Pizza has grown famous because of the portrayal of ethnic life. Oh wow.
Yeah, Fat Pizza is based on the lives of 5 ethnic people and 1 Australian pothead.
Wait, Paulie, the obsessed rev head, who claimed he was once a professional boxer and wrestler, who works at the Fat Pizza shop. That's so. This is like junk food reality TV.
I guess because Fat Pizza was like about the guys owning a pizza shop, and it's like really crazy shenanigans. And then Howzos was literally about a fictional place called Sunnyvale. And it's like really low socioeconomic housing, and
oh boy,
and oh god, it's something.
It is the literal Eshe hood.
Yeah, this was before the Eshe term was even a thing. This is like this is not really so much the Eshe culture, but it's like the low socioeconomic culture. And a lot of those areas, a lot of it was filmed actually not too far from where I live.
Oh my god.
Like dude. There was one episode where it was like at an ice skating ring, which is now shut down, but it was actually an ice skating ring in my area.
Dang.
And I was like, wait,
oh my god,
what?
That's kind of scary.
I was like, what?
What?
Okay. But
man, imagine having an area that's like famous.
Yeah, I mean, my area has probably some of the Eshe culture, but not as much as other areas. Like it's like my area in comparison is probably pretty chill to a lot of the other places.
I see.
So,
okay.
But yeah, it's literally just like the series is so funny because like you hear all this Aussie slang, you probably would have no idea what's going on. And then once you
Probably
learn
wouldn't,
once you
honestly.
learn the Aussie slang, you'd be like, okay, I know what's going on here. Like, you've got typical sort of names where it's like you got Shazza and freaking other stuff, and it's like, oh god.
Shazza?
uh,
What in the name,
yeah,
bro?
it's something to behold, basically.
It sounds like something to behold.
Yeah,
Behold and stay away from. Gun.
yeah.
You know, like shiving and like
Oh
what
god.
the heck?
Yeah. Yeah,
And
it's like, oh, I'm gonna, and like another term they have is like, oh, I'm gonna shank you, bruh. And it's like, oh my god.
shake's common, bro.
Yeah,
Honestly.
like, oh man, it's a lot of funny culture to learn about, but like it's only one piece of the pie of Australia, basically. Like,
Australia is sounding very diverse.
it very much is.
Very diverse. Oh boy.
Like, you've got all sorts of shenanigans, like, especially because, for instance, like, even me speaking the name of Western Sydney in general is like, people have so many assumptions about it. Like, if you don't live in Western Sydney, it's like you don't understand Western Sydney. Like, it's got a reputation.
There's a if you know, you know, kind
If
of
you
deal.
know, you
Okay,
know,
okay,
sort of thing. And it's like, but it's like, it's got a bizarre reputation because like, not every area of Western Sydney is a bad area, but there's definitely some areas you would avoid at night, definitely. And it's like, I could imagine it kind of being the same for, I mean, I don't know what Chicago's kind of reputation is in the US, but I imagine like
neither my dude.
yeah. But I imagine there's like some places, like you could like look at places like Cleveland in the US where it's like,
I'm thinking, so if this is like some areas you want to avoid at night, then the closest idea that I have is like it's like Shibuya for Japan. Like you want to kind of avoid Shibuya at night.
Yeah. Like there's some places in Western Sydney you definitely avoid at night, and it's like, but people sort of put that as a generalization as the whole Western Sydney, and they put it as a generalization to say, oh, like some guy actually went for a job interview in Sydney, and he's like from an area in Western Sydney, and the guy said to him, oh, is it okay to leave your car at the station in your area during the day?
Oh, bro, whoa, what?
Yeah, and
to that extent, that some of those areas are that dangerous.
Yeah, like they had the assumption it was that dangerous, and the guy was like, "No, it's fine. It's gonna be fine there. Like, it's not a problem." Like, but it's like, and then some people go, "Oh, we feel sorry for you living in Western Sydney," and it's like, huh? What? Like,
oh, you live in Western Sydney? Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry for you, but it's like, it's
so sorry for your loss.
It's like, bruh, it's not that bad. Like, yeah, there's some areas.
It's like, hey, wait a second now. It's not that bad. You got to understand at least. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's like, but they found out that like about 60 to 70% of people apparently that live in Sydney have never stepped foot into Western Sydney. So they would have no idea.
Dang.
They would have no idea like what the actual area is like.
Just Western Sydney just sounds like it's just a black sheep.
Dude. It's a broad area. Like there's so many different places. Like it's like they probably go, oh yeah, Sydney, the place we don't speak of, Blue Mountains.
Sydney,
They just
Blue
skip.
Mountains.
Yeah. They just
Sydney's Blue Mountains.
yeah. And
Oh
it's
my
like,
God.
I mean, I'm basically in an area that's like on the outskirts of Western Sydney, going towards the Blue Mountains, basically. But it's like, I mean, I know what Western Sydney culture is like. I know what areas are safe and what's not generally. And my area is definitely one of the safer places to be in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like you could safely go out at night in my area. There's like not much of a problem. Like,
nice. That's good. That's good. Yeah.
but then it's like get into more like the center of Western Sydney. Oh boy. Oh god. Just the casual sort of the casual drug deal happening, the casual sort of stabbing somewhere, gang violence.
I like how this is casual, by the way. Casual.
Yeah. It's
gotta
just
be
it just happens.
just in a like you just read like the daily news or hear from the daily news or something. Like 5 people and another homicide today.
Yeah, it's like just a mystery sort of home invasion. Okay, what happened there? Like,
oh my god.
but yeah, it's just like, yeah, Sydney, and then we don't talk about this area, which is
Fair enough.
which is such a broad area. Like it's a large area as well. Like you put it all together, they call it the Greater Sydney region. So it's like it's
the Greater Sydney region.
It's
the Greater Sydney region where all of these stabbings happen.
Yeah, it's like I saw a meme one time that literally was like the whole sort of you know, the Lion King meme where it's like it's just looking over the distance in that sort of shadowy area, and like Simba's like, what's that shadowy area over there? And it's like that is Western Sydney, you must never go there.
that place is forbidden.
That place is forbidden. But
let's see.
Yeah. It's just it's literally the whole thing. It's like, what's that shadowy area? That is Western Sydney, you must never go there. There's also some places in Queensland, like outside of Brisbane, you definitely don't want to go to either. Like, and I have the belief that some of those places are worse, to be honest.
Western Sydney be like, bro.
Western Sydney be like, nah, this is like, compared to another place up in Queensland, it's like, nah, that's child's play.
you think you're bad? You haven't seen the first of it.
Yeah. Oh, I see Momo peeking in the chat.
Hi, Momo.
Like, it's like, what are you doing over there, Momo? But yeah, it's.
Want to go to Western Sydney?
I want to go to Western Sydney.
Ashay's bro.
Ashay's bro. Yeah. I mean, if I think about it, it's like compared to like Sydney, when I was like, if Rio's work is in 20 minutes from Sydney, that's in the territory. That's in the territory ballpark.
It's a good place.
Yeah. But like
guys? Oh, we're doing good.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like a lot of Western Sydney's also industrial sort of stuff too. So I guess it kind of makes sense. Like there's lots of areas where stuff happens. Like you've got the industrial areas of Western Sydney. You've got just the commission houses, like they're basically just the low income housing, and a lot of them they just block together, which I think is probably the biggest problem with Western Sydney. They just block all the low income housing together, which probably creates a lot of these kind of reputations and stereotypes.
Yeah, sounds like it.
But yeah, and I guess it's like I've heard about, so one of the places outside of New York, I think, has a pretty particular name to it, I think, and and I was reading up. I think it's a Bronx or something. Had a bit of a name.
Oh, Bronx. I know there's like, well, I don't know much about New York, honestly.
Yeah, like I
Really
was reading
don't.
up, and people were saying Bronx is like one of the low income areas, which has a lot of the crime and the all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it kind of makes sense, but at the same time, it's like you kind of just wish that like people would just kind of do more for these areas to kind of lift them up, and that's probably one of the reasons
Yeah.
why Western Sydney kind of became the way it did. Like a lot of these lower income areas just never really got looked after, and it's kind of just been overtaken by the Eshays.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, cheap houses, like let's go here and let's just start our shenanigans here because we can. No one's going to stop us. Like,
That shit's rough.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's just kind of the thing. Like, I mean, you can't stop all of it, but you can definitely try and do something about the problem. Like,
yeah.
it's like, I mean, there's some areas in my area even that I'd probably go, yeah, don't go there at night. But it's like you go 10 minutes down the road and it's like you go around this particular street. It's like, yeah, lock your windows in your car. Don't ask any questions.
Don't ask. No.
Yeah, don't ask about it. It's
So-
like,
Yeah. Should we continue on with the other chat GTP stuff?
let's maybe do one final one to look at. I mean, there was one that talks about the use of technology in VTubing, like with the whole motion capture and 3D models and 2D models and all that sort of stuff. And I guess I could probably talk about one of the mentalities that some people have with like the VTubing scene. Like when it first kind of started, a lot of people kind of had the mentality of oh, I need to have a $2,000 VTuber model or a $3,000 VTuber model to start off, and yeah, like that would generate some kind of attention because people would go, oh, look, really cool VTuber model. Like, I want to follow this person and see what their debut is like. And I mean, I'm probably no sort of, I can't say I didn't do that back in the day. Like, I was looking at a lot of VTubers and I was like, oh, cool model, like I want to check out what they're doing. And yeah, I mean, I think it's just one of those kind of mentalities that people have where it's like you need to have that to have a good time as a VTuber, like successfully. But you don't really. Like, I mean, I started off as an IRL streamer, switched to VTubing probably about a year and a bit into it, and I sort of I gradually worked my way to where I am. Like, I got a PNG, started off with the PNG, and then did experimented with Vroid for a bit, and then
You
here
evolved.
I am, evolved to where I am now. Like, I didn't just go straight off the bat, go, yeah, let's spend $2,000-$3,000. And
I like the evolution path, honestly, of like converting to VTuberism, let's say.
yeah,
where it's like you start off with like this immovable or like somewhat movable PNG that interacts when you talk to it. When you talk, and next you know, you get to like this 3D Vroid model that's sort of like, you know, being made somewhat, and then you spend, once you get enough money from that, you spend enough money to get like an actual live 2D model, and then eventually you get several iterations of these, so it's like a straight line, and then you evolve back to 3D.
Maybe
to 3D with like better quality, and then that's the final point. That's it. And then you just cycle through between live 2D and then like professional 3D stuff. That's something about that just seems, it's not like this simple like 3-step of Pokemon evolution. It's going back, it's like
You
flat,
come full
immovable,
circle.
one 3D. Like you just shoot all the way to 3D. You
Yeah.
fall back to 2D, 3D again, and then you just loop, and then you just loop. You just like
Yeah.
have this tail.
Yeah, it's kind of like you just go full circle. You go start off IRL, you get through your process of like your VTubing journey, and then you just go, yeah, I'm back to 3D now, back to my IRL self.
Back to 3D. Not as cool anymore. Okay, back to my 2D stuff.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
it's like I think there's always been that misconception that like newcomers to the VTubing space kind of have, and it's like you just, oh yeah, you need to go full spend $2,000-$3,000 to get a good VTuber model, and then people will watch your streams because you got higher end equipment, and it's like, I mean, it does help in the beginning, like from what statistics have shown, like it does help in the beginning, give you that push, but
Um. Hmm.
at
I
the
mean,
same time you'll sort of drop off after a while unless you change it up and innovate and become a good streamer.
mhm.
So
Well, I mean, ultimately, I think at the end of it, regardless of any technology you might have, so I mean, just to go back to go back to the topic, right? Just like technology tracking and such. I mean, it's
yeah.
improved a lot.
Oh
It's
yeah.
improved a whole lot. You know, I mean, beginning if you look at, I still think of Keys and I as sort of the real starting point.
Yeah.
Even though of all this stuff, like that was like tracking was a bit, you know, weird. Well, not as
Yeah.
smooth as it could be, right? But then you look at 3D models today,
Mm.
and you see how like innovative they were. I'd actually say that Zentrea is actually probably the more proponent of, like, the bigger proponent of a 3D VTubing, because
True.
she mainly just was always constantly in 3D, even giving us
Yeah.
the god model, the Gecko Zen,
Yeah, yeah.
Gecko Treya, and so sh- I she's definitely part of the she's
Yeah.
definitely the biggest proponent in evolving at least 3D VTubing for the general audience, let's say. You got
True.
people, and then you have like Hollow Live and Niji Sanji who have a whole team working on that. So, you
Yeah.
know, they're of course putting forth all of that. And their stuff looks really smooth nowadays. Like
Yeah.
Niji Sanji and Hollow Live both had in their beginnings sort of uh let's see, good tracking, but then you look at their concerts that they hold, or you look at some of 3D
Yeah.
events that they have, and it's like super smooth, and it's absolutely amazing. Honestly, it's super cool. And then
Yeah.
of course you look at 2D VTubers who are like, you know, moving and
Yeah.
such, and you see from like they're somewhat smooth, like it's pretty smooth, right? But then you get
Yeah.
like bigger, better expressions, you know,
True.
and just way smoother tracking. So yeah,
Yeah.
and all that stuff, and it's definitely come a long way. The technology has been evolving and getting better. There's people out there who work on the programs that make the tracking possible, to make these expressions possible. And
Yeah.
then you even nowadays have people teaching other people just how these animation programs work.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm,
It's like I do know a
mhm.
few,
Getting weeks in.
like I do know a
Mhm.
few different like VTuber sort of designers and riggers and stuff, and a lot of their work
Right.
is like it's really really good work, like really high quality stuff. And
Dude, some people, like, it's amazing to me how like there's some people who produce, who one learn all the technical details of programs that make the VTuber models by themselves, like who
mm,
learned all of that and
yeah,
make the models that they do, that make the models that they make.
yeah,
It's amazing. And some of them are VTubers themselves. You know, there's one Omorikira. Dude,
mm,
I've seen some of her videos where like she was beginning ends of beginning VTuber. And
yeah,
now you look at her model today, it's amazing. It's literally breathtaking. You look at Juniper
yeah,
Juniper too. She also had like very humble beginnings,
Hmm.
and her rigging is it's chef's kiss. It is literally chef's kiss. God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like
So
it's like, for
mhm,
instance, my VTuber designer and rigger, like Mahoyoma, like did a really really good job with mine. Like for the price I
mhm,
paid, I was like, oh man, they did so much for the price, and they did it really well. Like,
mhm. Also to mention, this stuff takes time too. It takes
yeah,
time
this
learning
stuff
it.
takes
It
time,
takes
and
time.
like they managed to do my VTuber
Mhm.
model like and rig it in a matter of like a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
and I was just like, holy shit! Like, I was expecting it to take like so much longer. Like, like,
Mhm.
but they managed to do it so quickly, and I was like, wow, okay, like, they've obviously gotten so good at it over time, like
Mhm.
that they've just managed to be able to figure out like just how to perfect it and how to just make it work. But I guess that's
Yeah.
like what comes with over time. Like, people just get better at it. They can start doing it quicker. They could like probably say do more commissions. They can just like keep going.
Teach it to other people.
Yeah, teach it to other people as well.
Distribution of the knowledge. It's great. Honestly.
Yeah,
Um. Mhm.
yeah, it's insanely good. And I mean, maybe I'll go back and I'll try and get some more clothing at some point. Who knows? Do some clothing swaps and stuff.
Mhm.
But that's probably one
Definitely.
of my goals. I also do have some emotes in the work because I wanted to get some emotes finally,
Nice.
and I've got Ichigo Hellcat doing that, so that's going to be really cool.
Oh,
So
fun. Hey, nice, nice. It's
yeah,
you see, like this is the other part of VTubing that I find interesting is that people essentially start up their own company,
yeah,
you know, full of associates and people that even though yeah they're paying them right,
mm,
but it's like I don't know, you form like this almost kind of team. You're still the forefront,
yeah,
you're still like the appetizer, you're still the presenter, you're still doing all these other things.
mm,
You're the one that comes up with the idea, but then you have other people, you bring on other people along the board um,
yeah,
to make that a reality.
yeah. Like
And those people are amazing. Those people are
I've
amazing.
had many ideas like and I've discussed it with like many different people over time, like the idea of maybe, who knows, maybe eventually one day I could potentially create like a VTuber agency or something like that, like one day. But it's
Mhm,
it's a matter of like, because at first I had the idea of creating like a VTuber group, like just a little VTuber group. But then
mhm.
one thing that sort of deterred me from that idea, I think, was I didn't want it to become something where it's like, oh yeah, this is just the friends club sort of thing. Like, this VTuber group's
Yeah,
just the
that's the
friends
other
club.
thing too, honestly. Like I'm just like sometimes when people form groups, it's like there's you gotta have some sort of system in place
Yeah,
to deal when this group feels that it wants to break up, you know? Of
yeah,
course, that also means that if they don't want to, if they everyone is in agreement to break up, sure. But you
yeah,
form a group for a reason, right?
yeah,
And if it's just to be an associate of the group, I
yeah,
gotta say that's not a stable enough reason. That's not a strong enough glue, right? You gotta
yeah,
have more than just wanting to be an associate with these people. I feel like it's like
yeah,
keep keep the idea that the group is alive. That's the reason why you formed the group in the first place.
yeah. Like, to
You
me,
know.
the idea of the group is like you form it so that like you can
Mhm.
form connections with, maybe, say, other people, not just friends. Like, you form the connections and you build up like some kind of relationship with the people in it. And
Mhm.
maybe, who knows, like you might suddenly go, oh, let's make it something corporate, or let's make it something more agency like, where it's like you're kind of become an agency to help others with their streaming, and you kind of make it something more than what it is. And I mean, like, it's like I'm not against people doing like VTuber groups, like, and I'm just gonna put that out there, like, just to say I'm not against people doing that.
No. It's just that you gotta do something to keep the group alive.
Yeah, you just gotta do something to keep it alive.
There's a reason. Yeah, there's like a reason it was made in the first place, and just being associated with people, it just isn't enough strong enough reason. Like you can just look at like Nomi and Bao and was it Yuzu, like all of them associate with one another, but they don't form a group.
Yeah,
you know,
they don't form a group just because it's
that's
like,
fine.
Yeah,
you can know that people are associated with one another, and not from a group. That's absolutely fine. But if you're forming a group, you got to have group activities.
Yeah, because like I've known
like.
some VTubers like that originally joined a VTuber group, and they literally said to me that there was no point being in it. Like there was, like they just didn't. There was no particular reason to stay in it, and there was not really much collaboration, not much kind of going on with it. So I was like, okay, well,
yeah, then like it's like, why did you form it?
Yeah, like why did you form it? Whereas I think VTuber agencies are kind of a little bit different because it's like there's more of a solid kind of foundation as to why it exists, and it's kind of,
we could probably take a look at that as like a what is it? If we think about what's sort of the most, I think about it as like this business is like a very solid way of getting anyone together and doing things for a long time, right? And so that's like the most, like business is like the way, right? Because you're all a group of people, you've come up with this thing, you're producing a product, and you're trying to get it out to other people. It's essentially like a organized social formation. Yeah. And if you form a company, like a VTuber company, VTuber agency, what you're promoting as products is the streams.
Yeah, like,
and you get people to watch.
Like for instance, I watched from beginning to end the downfall of a VTuber company, and this particular one was CyberLive, and I knew some of the people in CyberLive. Like I actually did a couple of times join some of their Discord calls and actually got to hang out with some of them, and I watched the beginning stages and I thought, wow, this is really promising. Like this could be like the next V Shoujo or like the next kind of Niji Sanji, because the talent there was really good. Like you had talents at the time. You had Pandora, you had Kaneko Lumi, Amaris Yuri, and a few others. And Hylo was part of it too at that time. And I was in call with a couple of these people, like Pandora and Hylo, and in the beginning it looked so promising. Like everything looked like it was going to be really freaking cool. Like there was lots of good collaboration, like lots of good stuff going on. And then I think the first red flag that came out was the management of CyberLive.
Oh boy.
The management really was not very good after a while. Lots of stuff was going on.
That could be arguably like some of the glue in there,
Yeah. And I think at the time, I'm not sure if I'm correct on this, but I think at the time eventually Kaneko Lumi was kind of trying to salvage CyberLive to an extent from the management, basically. Was trying to salvage it and kind of trying to fix up some of the systemic problems in CyberLive. And then eventually Kaneko Lumi and Amaris Yuri eventually left CyberLive and went to Phase Connect. And so I was like, oh shit, what's going on there? Oh boy. They just lost two of their VTubers, then Hylo left as well and went indie. And they were going through the process of having a Gen 2 startup. in CyberLive. And the Gen 2 came along, and it was just really clear at that point some sort of management issues were happening, because you had three of your five Gen 1s just leave. So that was just really, really bizarre. Like, I was going, what the hell's going on with CyberLife? What the hell is happening? And it was just sad because they couldn't really talk about what was going on. Like, they just had to
I would imagine their contracts probably wouldn't allow it.
Yeah, so they just kind of had to, like, Pandora and Sana were kind of the only two there that just stayed in the company and stayed kind of loyal till the end. And now the next process was that CyberLive then renamed to Etheria, and their whole idea was, okay, we're going to become just a VTuber group, not a company anymore. So they tried to salvage it through that sort of process. And then that kind of fell out, and they basically were like, okay, Etheria's disbanded. So
Rip.
the good thing was that I'd say for most of the VTubers there, they managed to just kind of salvage themselves and keep themselves going as indies. But it was just really sad to see them sort of go from being potentially the next big thing to, while they could still be the next big thing, like as individuals, it would have been so cool to see them together be the next big thing. Like, but it was just sad to see them kind of implode in themselves and all that. Like,
you gotta have good systems in a company.
Yeah, and I guess that would be one of the fears I would have if I did try and start like a VTuber agency or something. Like I don't want the same thing to happen to me, for instance.
Like, yeah, I mean, I imagine it's just a lot of work. Honestly, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Trying to keep these systems up. You gotta get like recruitment.
Yeah.
People who can are okay with reaching out to certain particular individuals.
Yeah, like, I mean, I would love to eventually one day have some of the people from, like, say, the old CyberLive Etheria sort of thing kind of come on the podcast and talk about like the experience, I guess, a little bit.
Oh boy.
And just kind of say, hey, what are they doing now, and how did they start, and what was kind of, if they're allowed to talk about it, like what was going on behind the scenes, like, and I guess when did they sort of know the warning signs were kind of appearing. But yeah, like, I mean, maybe one day I'll do a VTuber agency, but I might sort of start it off a bit slow, not take it too quick, because I think that's one of the mistakes that a lot of VTuber agencies tend to have, is they just take it too quickly and get too many people in, and then suddenly it's like, oh, we can't really actually afford to do this. Like,
well, yeah, you need to make sure you have like a stable foundation. I mean, HoloLive, before it became HoloLive, they were like a technology company.
Yeah, that's true.
So
yeah,
they already had like a bank. They already had a bank of money.
Yeah.
In store to work off of. So, yeah, you gotta have a source of income to be able to do and fund the projects you want to fund, or and not necessarily just have a pool of people pulling their money together, because that's just also very rough.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I would love to create a VTuber agency and like have some kind of management to kind of go, hey, can you guys like basically just keep things in check and make sure all the VTubers who join the agency are having a good time and not feeling like shit being here.
Oh god, yeah, no. I am curious how management and certain companies and like VTuber companies go, honestly, because
Yeah.
they gotta, they gotta, or just certain entertainment companies, honestly, if you think about it, like idol company basically do the same thing,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah. It's
Basically do
like,
the same thing as VTubers, except with the added it's just that VTubers, they're sort
hmm.
of constantly on PR, for example, like
Yeah, yeah.
basically constantly on PR by nature of playing games and interacting with chat. While idols, I feel like they kind of have these occasional moments that the way they are quote unquote interacting with the public is by producing their songs and
Yeah.
going to meet and greets, for example, and answering questions, or like starting
Yeah.
up these little miniature concerts everywhere and here and there, you know.
Yeah.
And they got to put on a
Like
show. It's like, yeah.
I wonder if and I'm not really sure how this would work, because it's like, I know that we say for
Oh, I was gonna say, like as a management too, you know,
hmm,
these are people, they're gonna tire out, they're constantly doing this stuff. And
yeah.
so as managers, it's sort of like you, I guess at one point, have to be a bit like a therapist. I remember um thinking of like a, what is it? Thinking of certain Hololive members and on the inside at least talking about,
Hmm.
mentioning a little bits about their managers and being like, yeah, my manager is so good to me. Like they
Hmm.
fill the cracks that I have in myself. So they
Hmm.
keep me on track and they keep me working and such. Or
Yeah.
they treat me nice and treat me well, and they, like, I get the sense that the managers know
Yeah.
they're like know who they're managing, right?
Yeah.
And so there's like that relationship too, right? There's got to be, it's like almost any job, if it's not that well established, where it's like, you know I think the companies that stay around for the longest are the ones that do have a know-how, but also
Yeah.
have a really good have a good foundation being the
Yeah.
relationships that they build with their coworkers.
Yeah.
It's like that stuff has to be strong. You got to have a good work culture, because that way you people stay strong together. You guys
Yeah.
are like glued to each other in times when maybe money's going low and you're trying to pull things together,
Yeah.
right?
Like I
Like,
really wonder how it works,
mhm.
like, because it's like obviously when it comes to content creators, like you would get paid, say, by like your Twitch payout, or you get paid through, for instance,
AdSense.
your AdSense. Yeah. And it's like,
Mm.
I really wonder
Merch you
how,
sell eventually, right?
yeah, or merch
Mhm.
you sell eventually and stuff like that. And it's like, I really wonder when times, like, say, if you're like a startup sort of VTuber agency and you've suddenly got
Yeah,
some VTubers on,
because it is.
it's like,
You
how
know?
does the money work? Like, do they like, do the creators get paid even though they're not making much, or do they just have to kind of just go with the flow and wait till their AdSense is enough or their Twitch payout is enough, or
Mhm.
and then with like the actual, say, if they have any kind of PR and those guys and all that sort of stuff, like, do they get paid? Like, it's like,
Mhm.
it's all kind of like the, I guess, the things you sort of want to know. Like, you want to know, how does
Things
it
you
work?
gotta think about, yeah. Mhm.
Like, because
And
the money doesn't just come out of nowhere.
it comes from the viewers and
Yeah,
other companies that are funding your stuff. Yeah, no,
yeah.
like,
But also at the
mhm.
same time, I wonder, do the agencies take a cut of the content creators' pay?
Definitely, like, they
Yeah,
have to,
yeah,
you know?
they'd have to.
They have to, yeah.
Yeah, like,
Mhm.
because I mean, if you're a large VTuber or a large streamer, you're probably not going to worry too much
Mm.
about a small bit being taken out so that you pay like your management teams and all that sort of stuff.
I I think about it as, like, getting taxed from a particular government. So, like,
Mm,
you know, so the agency has to be, like, some sort of bank, right? In
mm,
which all their money gets funneled to, or maybe multiple banks, so that way whenever one pile of money goes out, they still have other backups. But otherwise,
mm.
like, they gotta have, like, what is it? Treasurers, right? Around. They gotta make sure that security is up, because
Yeah,
you think about VTubers and live streamers essentially,
Hmm.
like they gotta. People are weird, dude. People are weird.
Yeah.
So you gotta keep them secure,
Yeah.
especially when you have like fans and such that want the particular VTuber's content and such and merch.
Oh
And
yeah.
they'll do anything, But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you
Like,
got to think about security for your VTubers. You got to think about technology for them. That's something that they
yeah.
also provide. You right?
Hmm.
And like it's like, what is it? Whether or not they're keeping healthy,
Yeah.
making sure how do they handle disputes between other VTubers if there ever has to, if there ever is any.
Yeah.
Probably holding meetings about content ideas.
Hmm.
What are some next ideas? So that's probably something that they think about too. Other things probably are like what is it? Um, Tech upgrades, as I've been saying. Yeah, like
Yeah. Yeah.
going past just live 2D, multiple live 2Ds, for example, or
Yeah.
like 3D models.
Yeah.
That's something they also have to pay for and get people to make and pay for and do stuff with.
True.
So yeah, and someone has to sort of be the visionary for this, and then
True.
also like a bit of the manager as well. And so
Yeah.
that's sort of that's what I'm thinking goes into this, goes into running a VTuber company. I think the best part about this too, actually, it can
Yeah.
be an entirely remote job. It can
True.
be.
True. Yeah. It can be.
Yeah.
Like,
You
I
think
mean,
about it, like
remote jobs, like, especially after like the whole pandemic stuff going on, like it's
Mhm.
it's become really popular now. Like remote job is starting to become a lot more popular.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Honestly.
I would love to have a remote job, to be honest. Like, I mean, I would just love to
Oh,
be able
man.
to just get up, just work at my desk, be like, all right, cool, I'm feeling accomplished, I got my stuff done, and
Just be a
then
VTuber.
just be a VTuber. Yeah,
Just
yeah,
be a
just be a VTuber. Like, we just got to get the viewers.
Mhm. Right.
Yeah,
That's just the hard part, though.
it's like,
Simple.
it's like, all right,
Doesn't mean it's
guys,
easy.
here's my goal. Let's get Twitch partner by the end of next month. I'm sure we can do that.
Oh my god. Mhm. By the end of this week, we'll get 100,000 viewers. We're gonna get paid by AdSense and Twitch payout and being
Yeah.
partnered. A nice check button.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been really happy seeing a lot of like some of the VTubers I know just starting to get Twitch partner and stuff. Like, it's just really nice to
It's
see.
great. Mhm.
And yeah, and I mean, I've
know.
got some VTuber friends who are really close to that Twitch partner sort of thing as well.
Hey.
So
Yeah.
really cool to see. It makes you go, man, maybe we'll get there very soon. Who knows? We'll get there one day.
Get them one day. Just gotta
Yeah.
be
Got to keep
gotta be
grinding.
smart about marketing and such. This I've been thinking about recently how people have been saying like gotta grind and such, and it's like
Yeah.
I think about sort of you can grind, but if you keep on grinding the same way you've been doing, you're
Yeah.
gonna get the same results that you've been getting,
True. True.
right? So it's like I think about it more so as like um grind smartly in a sense. If
Yeah.
something isn't working,
Change it up a
stop
bit.
doing it.
Like,
Exactly.
change it up a bit, or even just kind of change your strategy entirely and see how it goes.
Mhm.
Like I mean, for me, like, I've been wanting to focus on spreading across more platforms, kind of to just try and test the waters, like on, say, YouTube a bit more, or even doing more
Right.
TikTok stuff to kind of branch out.
Yeah. Mhm.
Because that way I'm not just sort of staying on just Twitch. Like,
Mhm.
and that's,
Diversify and such,
yeah, that's like one of my strategies for this year, is like just to try and diversify more in terms of where I'm going on different platforms. And then the next idea would probably be just to kind of do what I'm doing, but just do it better. So
Yeah. No. That's always part of the process, is it not?
yeah, like we've
Always
made the
trying
first
to be better.
evolution step. We've upgraded a bit. So,
exactly. You know.
So now the next step is to
And
improve my
so-
content.
improve your skills. You got better equipment.
Yeah.
I've always found it interesting how like it's sort of sticking with the from your equipment, but then innovating off of that is how
Yeah.
like was where like the real sort of gems shine, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I've used the same
Mhm.
mic since the beginning of my streaming journey. Like, I've used the same mic because it's still a good mic, and I
Mhm.
haven't seen the need to upgrade it at the moment. So,
Mm-hmm.
like,
Yeah,
maybe
no.
maybe there will be an upgrade. Like, I would love to definitely get the same mic that the Trash Taste guys have, but
The Shure SMBs and whatevs.
yeah, I
Yeah.
would love to get one of
Dude,
those,
those are crazy.
and
Thousands of
maybe
dollars, dude.
maybe I'll branch out to more music stuff this year. Like, who knows? Like, I mean,
Yeah, you did a rap of sorts, did you not?
yeah, I did a rap with Mex, and
Mhm.
I mean, I would love to do more collaborations with Mex maybe in the future. Like, who knows?
Mhm.
But also,
Right.
because like I don't have much of the music production side skills. I more have the writing lyrics and rapping skill. So
Mhm.
maybe more stuff in the future, like maybe some covers, who knows. uh like
Yeah.
I've been thinking about a couple covers, like maybe 3 Days Grace or something like that. Linkin Park.
Pain without love, pain.
Yeah, like
Oh man. Mhm.
yeah, like I've been thinking about a few songs that I might try and eventually cover, but I've got to try and find stuff that's more in my sort of vocal range, I think. And
Also,
that's
probably refine how
yeah,
refine singing and such. Refine your skills in singing.
yeah, I got to
Mhm.
refine my singing skills because I'm not much of a singer. So
Mm, mm, mm.
yeah,
Mhm. You get there. You get there. I
like
I kind of have some uh I guess some general ideas. I'm not exactly a
hmm,
singing coach, but I at least have some ideas
yeah,
of what singing and like consist of.
yeah.
You know.
I'd
Mhm.
I'd love to do like some screamo songs. I'd love to do like some screamo songs where I can just get those really
Uh
sort of growly screams and stuff. But
doing growls and like gritty kind of singing, dude.
yeah,
Oh god, those are something. Like you,
oh god, yeah,
whew, I've been working on them. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Like I've been,
yeah. Like I actually found
yeah, man,
a
trying
good
to do
tip.
that.
I found a good tip
Mhm.
from a VTuber that does like I think she does like yeah, it's she does like she like does streams where she's like literally playing playing like songs on like her guitar and shit. Um, I think it's Ob Katie Cat. Like she does like really cool stuff, like metal stuff. And then she was like talking about how to do the actual growl sort of screams, like how to do like those sort of vocals.
Yeah,
And it's
I
it's
can do like at most right now just only like gritty, gritty singing at gritty
yeah,
singing and debatably kind of rock-ish sounding voices, but yeah.
yeah. And it's like
But yeah, sure.
the tip
Mhm.
that she had was like obviously yeah, don't try and use your throat because like that
No,
because that will damage your vocal cords pretty bad. Um, I
it's about
mean,
breath support, the way you use your sort of core muscles at the
yeah,
stomach and diaphragm, and the
yeah,
way you sort of um the way not really use your throat, but it's more so the way you shape the entrance of your throat
yes,
in a way.
and
Hmm.
it's like one tip she had was like you know how like you let out a breath and stuff, like you just gotta kind of go like it's like you go lower, like you sort of like drag it out, let it out, like go lower with your
she's engaging in vocal fry like this. This is vocal fry right here. This is what she's meaning right now.
Yeah, basically. And it's like you just
Mm-hmm.
gotta like let it sort of come out, like, and it's
it's the little bit, it's the texture that we have when we try to go into our deep kind of almost when I go into my deep like sort of sultry voice like this,
yeah,
and then I just like sort of loosely I let go of some sort of air, like air support the diaphragm stuff. So it's
yeah.
like this, this is where you're hearing the vocal cords
Yeah.
here, like
Yeah, it's
you know. that's
yeah.
where you hear more prominent vocal cords.
I don't know if
And
I'll
sometimes some people can find that annoying.
I don't know if I'll
Some
try
people
it
can
on
find that
stream,
annoying.
but I could probably let out a bit of a growly sort of vocal. Like, I don't know if I feel good about doing it on stream, but
Oh, that wasn't even growl, honestly. It was
No.
fry. That's just
yeah,
fry.
it's like you just gotta
It's the first bit to growl. It's
yeah, and
it's
then
like growling and really aggressive kind of singing where it requires like grit, is a mix of the way that someone I watch put it. He puts it as it's like nearing around vocal break, the voice crack, that
yeah,
the
yeah,
and adding fry to that. And I was like,
yeah.
it's not
It's
exactly
like you just
that,
gotta
but
go
then,
like you gotta kind of
yeah,
like try and get lower and lower, and you gotta go
yeah.
yeah. It's
When you start singing, and
like I
that's where
remember
you start messing around with those
yeah.
concepts.
I remember like she was like trying to do like that sort of slip knot sort of like the like that sort of oh yeah part like at the beginning, and like she actually did it really well though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
it's like oh yeah, like kind of like yeah, it's
I can't do it right now,
yeah,
honestly.
like I'm not
Yeah.
gonna try and let
Something
my
like that.
vocals go too hard on that, but like
No, it shouldn't hurt. Is the thing is that
yeah,
whenever
it
you're doing
shouldn't
like
hurt.
vocal fry or not even vocal fry, but aggressive singing and such, dude, it's amazing to me how some like metal singers or people who do screamo and sing like rock-ish, whenever they try
Yeah,
to engage in that, they blast their vocal cords out. But
yeah,
really, it's more about sort of using proper technique whenever you're trying to
yeah,
sing
and
like
it's
that.
like for instance like the head singer of Bring Me the Horizon, Ollie Sykes, like he ended up I think breaking his vocal cords like 3 times in his career.
Oof, no, yeah.
But that's because like he
You don't wanna
wasn't
do that.
using the proper techniques in the beginning, but then like over time he
Right.
started to use the proper techniques, and he's been getting coached on the proper techniques. So
Yeah, it's interesting to me just how many singers have a vocal coach, honestly.
yeah. Yeah, because it's like Ollie Sykes is like in his early days, like he was doing like full on deathcore, metalcore, like he was doing that for a long time, like just that sort of stuff. And then I remember the first time I listened to him with when he sort of had ruptured his vocal cords, like I was like, oh god, like how's he even out on stage, like even trying to sing at that point?
No, dude.
Like because like when he had broken his like, when he ruptured his vocal cords, like it sounded like he had a really big sort of lisp when he was singing. And I was like, oh god, like
That's intense. Those are usually
like
pretty bad.
I remember one time I tried to do the Linkin Park song, which one was it? Given Up. Like I tried to do that. I think it's like a 20-second long scream or something, or 18-second scream.
No, oh god, yeah. I think I know which one you're talking about. You're going like, yeah, good. I don't know. I can't do it right now.
Yeah, it's like
but no.
like he did like,
Oh, man.
but in the live performance, like I noticed he would split it off into 2 sections, so like he wouldn't actually push himself too far when live. So he would do like the first 10 seconds, then like he would take a little breath and then start going full into like the next section. So it kind of gave a slight break between it, but in the recorded version, that's all an 18-second scream, and I'm like, holy shit, how do you maintain that for 18 seconds?
Like, really good breath control. Really really good breath control. Like
I don't know if Chester
Mhm.
ever ruptured his vocal cords at any point. I don't know if he ever did. Like,
Probably, I would imagine. Actually, I would imagine so. He did.
I would feel like he did, but like, unless maybe he more so ruptured it like off tour maybe, and like during his recording stages maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, no, just I imagine just. I'm pretty sure he did. You know,
yeah,
like
yeah,
at some point.
I mean, he
Mhm.
never did like screaming as much as like Ollie Sykes from Bring Me the Horizon or anything like that, but
Mhm.
he definitely had a lot of songs that were pushing that sort of like that limit a bit. So,
Mhm. Right. Mhm.
but yeah, like I loved seeing like Ob Katy Cat's kind of sort of videos, kind of like talking about like stuff. Like one was literally titled "Metal Waifu VTuber Shows You How to Growl," and
Oh boy.
she did
Mhm.
do that. She did show it, kind of like she was like, "Oh yeah, this is kind of the tips I give you on how to do it."
Mm-hmm.
And like, because
Oh
I
man.
found out she is actually
I
a backup singer in a band. So
Nice. Yeah, no,
yeah,
that's pretty cool. Mhm.
yeah. But yeah. I mean, there's so many more things we could definitely go into in terms of topics and that. But I do think we're kind of probably reaching that time where it's like we should probably end it for today.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling it. Yeah.
Yeah, like we've touched on some pretty interesting topics. Like
We've branched out a whole lot. We've
we branched out a
what is
lot.
it? Mm,
And I think that kind
we
of
like we had GTP just set the stage for being VTuber stuff, and then next you know it's like we're talking about
we're
essays
talking
and
about essays
freaking
and
singing and
singing, yeah.
um how to start a VTuber company.
Yeah, yeah. What not to
Oh
do
man.
when starting up a VTuber company.
Mm. What not what well I think we went over what to do actually, honestly speaking.
Yeah, I mean, it's
And
probably
also
best to
we did talk about.
yeah,
Mhm.
best to leave it to the professionals that probably know what they're doing with
We're
starting
just
a VTuber
offering
company.
thoughts. We don't know what the heck we're talking about.
We
We're
just
not
know
professionals in this.
probably some of the things you probably shouldn't do.
You just probably just think about some stuff, you know, like maybe
Yes.
this is what we're thinking about. I'm thinking about this stuff. I don't know. I'm not
Yeah.
an actual
It's like I
economist,
don't
business
know.
person. I don't know.
Like
Mhm.
like slow it down a bit. Like don't try and rush into it and think you got everything. But
Mm,
yeah. But either way, yeah,
mhm,
it's definitely been a really good episode. It's been good having you on the
mhm.
podcast.
Good to be on here.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and
It's been nice talking.
definitely at some point we'll have to bring you back on at some point. Maybe in one of my return episode ideas where I bring you on with another person, maybe. Who knows?
I would be glad to come back. I'd be glad to come back. Yeah,
Yeah.
and get and see what that's like.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. Maybe
Yeah.
who knows? We'll see what happens between me and ex VTuber. Mhm.
Yeah. Who knows what will happen? I'm sure we've got a
Same with
few.
anyone else, I guess too.
Yeah. I'm definitely thinking about what my next episode will be because I like to always kind of plan. Usually, I like to plan more about a month ahead of what I'm gonna do for the next month. But
Mm.
yeah,
Good to have that.
I was like this month was like a really hectic month for me, like especially last month, because like this month, like for the first couple weeks, I was still kind of recovering from my throat infection and shit, and I was just like, man, this sucks so much.
Oof. Mhm.
Like,
Good
because
you recovered from that.
yeah, because I think it was like really mid December I started getting sick, and like
Oof.
and it wasn't until like a good week into January that I was like feeling fine enough to really do shit. Like because my throat was just so dead. Like
Yeah.
I don't know what happened with that, but
Mhm.
like it sort of dragged out because it was like because it was like a week before I went away with Zach the Bros and his girlfriend, because we were going away for like the weekend for Zach's birthday, and I was streaming that week, and I suddenly had like a really sharp pain in my throat start. Well, like
Oof.
like right after my stream, like the first stream of that week, and I was like, oh shit, what is this? Like, what the hell is this? So I literally was like, okay, I'm heading for the freaking Panadol, and because I don't want to deal with
Right.
that. So I headed for the Panadol, and then I was like, okay, that's fine now. Okay, that's cool. The next day I woke up and I was like, I felt really just kind of croaky voiced. So I don't know if it actually helped or not, but I felt croaky voiced. Wasn't really any pain in the throat though. Like, all the pain was not there.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole week,
oh no.
like that whole week, it was just kind of croaky voice, and like I then started taking, like, because we have these kind of lemon drinks, like called a lem sip. So I thought, oh, that should clear out the throat and fix everything, and it was not improving. Nothing was changing. Like,
oh no.
So, I mean, I never had any pain in the throat after that, but it was, what I found out was, it seemed like it was just building up like mucus or something. And then suddenly when I went away the weekend, because I thought, I don't want to be sick for the weekend while I'm celebrating my friend's birthday and stuff. Like,
right.
But I thought, okay, I'll still go, and I still went. And then suddenly, every time I was like talking and stuff, like if I talked for too long, I was just kind of getting more into a bit of a coughing fit, like I wanted to cough up shit.
Oh no.
So I had no idea.
Those are the worst.
I had no idea what was going on, but I was just like, okay, how am I gonna fix this? And then my next thought was, I'm just gonna force myself to like basically bring this shit up. I'm just gonna force it.
I'm just gonna frick it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna just force it up, and I mean, that helped. Like, I think it actually helped, but I ended up feeling like shit doing that. Like,
oof.
I felt so shit that night. Like, I went to sleep and I just felt so awful. I woke up that next morning, and I mean, I still had a shitty voice, but I mean, I kind of felt somewhat better, but then I still felt sick over Christmas with it, and I was slowly, like really slowly recovering from it. Like, I don't know what it was, but I just thought of it as a throat infection because I couldn't think of it as anything else.
Yeah.
And it wasn't probably until the first week of January that I actually started feeling better. Like, and then also I had to get a new bed because like my back was starting to literally hurt on my bed.
Oh no.
Yeah. So,
well, that's good. It's over now, though.
Yeah, I'm happy that I can actually feel like I'm in a good state for once. I feel like it's the best I've felt since, like,
after like several weeks.
After several
2-3
weeks. Oh
man.
Like, it was so shit.
Good to hear that you're good, though. Good to hear that you're healed up, though.
Yeah, like, I really wanted to do more collabs in that time, and I really wanted to like just kind of try and reconnect with some friends.
Yeah.
But I was just like, nah, I'm fucked. I'm fucked.
I'm out. Yeah.
It's like, I'm out.
Oh, good.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But either way, I think that'll be the end. So thank you guys so much for coming into this podcast episode. Like, it was a nice lot of random sort of talk and stuff. And hopefully we'll bring Nephi on for another one. And we'll also see if if we can kind of do an episode where we get a bunch of return guests kind of together. So
Yeah.
yeah, that'll be cool. For next month, I don't know who I'm gonna bring on yet. I originally had an idea, but I might delay that one for a little longer and see if I can get someone else on. Who knows? But we'll see where it goes.
Exciting.
So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed today, and we'll see you all in another stream.
See ya, peeps.
See you later.
You have any?
Yeah.
Do you have any, like, what is it? Terms you call your peeps?
I don't really have a term for them. No, that's actually a good thought.
Okay. Okay. We'll see you, peeps.
But we'll
Neither do I.
yeah, it's like, all right, we'll see you all later.